reporters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panro TV, and I am actually somewhere other than home. Yeah, we're in somewhere in southern Oxfordshire now, actually, on the A40 road, and I'm here with my friend Colin, from previous Panro TV productions. He's a regular contributor of mine, and I'm absolutely amazed. Believe me, in the last 4 months, I haven't been more than I've been in the same 2 square miles basically for the last 4 months. With one exception, when I went to film the road statue, but of course that's just a couple of miles away in the city centre. So apart from that, I've not gone anywhere since I got back from Hull. Literally, I've been just going to work, going home, going to work, going home. But now I'm going somewhere else. We've got me and Colin are taking a little trip now. I think we've sort of declared. Yeah, we are taking a little road trip to see the Milester.
Yeah.
We are in the bubble of Miles Johnston, as the saying goes, just for legal reasons. I have to say that.
Devices.
Yeah, to the devices to see Mr. Johnston, and I hope he hasn't been eaten by the scuttlers when we get there. But it's just lovely to get out and about. I've really, really missed going out and about. I really have missed travelling. I am used to travelling normally quite a lot in my life, and now I'm back to that again. So until Oxford is locked down. So hopefully you never know.
No, you never know.
We might end up like Leicester, yeah. But honestly, I'm filming now. I've got no formal plans to make a video. I mean, if you were watching this, obviously I have, and I've edited it and uploaded it, but I might not even upload this, and I'm just sort of bringing my camera along to record my thoughts on my first journey out of lockdown for quite a long time. So Colin and I could head to Mr. Miles's house, and
it's also July the 4th tomorrow, remember?
It is Independence Day.
That's when apparently pubs and restaurants are supposed to open.
I'm certainly going to hope they're going to open in America. I don't think they've got.
I think there's a big debate tonight, isn't there? Trump's doing a big rally tonight in somewhere in the States. I think it was going to clash on the 4th, but he's put it forward a day early. So maybe some people are suggesting there might be some announcements. I don't know, but who knows? July the 4th, like you say, has always been a quite auspicious time for American people. So
yeah, it's hopefully it will be auspicious in this case. I mean, I just hope that the Democrats don't go and Democrats don't go and buy up all the tickets like they did at Tulsa.
Yeah, or have some agent provocateurs in the audience. And
I mean, poor old Trump. He did this speech and did this big auditorium, and normally, I mean, it's the first time he hasn't spoken to a packed crowd for bloody ages, but really there's hardly anyone there. And of course we found out later on that somebody had spent like about 500,000 quid buying up all the tickets. So
and also I think they didn't have enough people they were like giving them temperature checks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was like a bottleneck and stuff like that. So
yeah, there was a COVID-19 problem too. Yeah.
But there's a lot of.
There were also protesters outside, as always.
Going on. Yeah.
And we know how violent they can get. So there may be several reasons why it wasn't. I mean, Styx Hexenhammer did a video about this, but basically, all you can say is to the Demotwats who bought up those tickets, at least you contributed $500,000 or whatever it was to the Trump campaign. So. Thank you very much. I mean, they did pay for the seats. So they didn't put any bums on them, but
maybe Soros paid for those seats.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was Soros, actually. I know he gets blamed for everything, doesn't he? But yeah, he's.
I know, Soros.
Yeah, he's about as old as the dinosaurs, that's for certain. All that virgin's blood is keeping him going, as always. Yeah, but who knows? I mean, July the 4th. Hopefully, it will be a time of maybe. Much needed change and healing for the United States. Obviously, we've got the.
They tagged Ghislaine Maxwell last night, so that's a win.
Yes.
The good guys, as they say.
I've got a feeling that the CCTV in a prison cell might not be very reliable. You know, it's just like it's probably the same company that did Epstein's cell has probably done his. Oh, sorry, it wasn't working.
He posted some interesting things last night, people are saying, oh, this isn't. People waiting for these big arrests, but like what the Q post alluded to was this is like a domino effect, and like once these people start talking, they'll start throwing others under the bus, and so further down the line, she's going to be, she's going to be grassing up a lot of celebrities, and this may be why, there's long been rumours of celebrity arrests coming in the future, and I think that a lot of these people are getting a bit worried at the moment. Not just Andrew and all that, the royal family, which he has every right to be worried, but also a lot of celebrities. I think it could all be hitting the fan in the next couple of months. So.
Oh yeah, I got a feeling maybe Prince Andrew's sweat glands have started working again.
Activated, funny enough.
Yeah, this is a good thing. I mean, Q's right. The thing about Ghislaine Maxwell, who, by the way, did not kill herself, the thing about Ghislaine Maxwell is that she is a kind of it is a domino thing. She's like the start. She's a domino near the start of the row, not the end, which means that she will take down others with her, like you said. So the fact that she's now been arrested by the FBI and questioned, I mean, I hope Virginia Roberts-Jeffrey's okay, because she should watch her back. I mean, she'd certainly go into hiding if I was her.
Well, some people still think Epstein's still alive. I'm open to the idea that he's been taken off somewhere, and he might have confessed, and he might have, they might have recordings of him to see if his stories match up. Because if people assume he's dead, they might think that, oh, that's good news. But if it suddenly appears that actually they fake suicided him, and he's actually spilled the beans and he's in a safe place, then that could be another little twist.
No, it would. If he was still alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the old JFK Jr. thing that the Q followers think there's again, I'm open-minded to that. I don't rule it out. I still think, even though Q sort of did deny that, I still think there's a possibility that that Trump, he could literally win the election, and I don't know.
Who knows? I mean,
he'd take over even.
Well, who knows? I mean, the thing about QAnon is there are fake Q accounts out there, and there's a lot of disinformation involved. I mean, this is unlike some people, though. I don't believe Q itself is fake. I know people like Kev Baker, they think the whole thing is a sham. I can't agree with that, but obviously there is some fakery involved. As for Epstein being alive, I think it's unlikely. It's possible. I mean, if they can presume they told a lie about his suicide, so this means that why should they be lying about it? Why shouldn't they be telling bigger lies? But the thing about it is, if he was alive, it would mean that Dr. Michael Baden would have to be lying, and Baden actually supervised the post-mortem, and he was the one who first came out with this thing about the hyoid and the broken hyoid. Now, your hyoid point is it's a bone here in your throat. You can feel it if you go right out. You can actually feel it. It's an arch-shaped bone. Looks like a little bow or a rainbow, and the damage that's done to that will tell you, for example, if you hang yourself or you're strangled, the hyoid point will probably suffer some damage. It might break. And the kind of break you get will be different depending on whether you hang yourself or someone else does it. Basically, so the strangulation by self or other. And Epstein, according to Baden, and Dr. Kevin McCasey talks about this because he was on Molyneux's show before Molyneux got banned from YouTube. It's just the audio now. Is that Epstein's hyoid has the injuries of strangulation, so that would be in a sense evidence of murder, not suicide, because when you suicide it all comes up here, so you get like I'm not here. Strangulation tends to be down there, down's different of force. It was very interesting what he said. So I don't think those guys are lying, and Maiden supervised the autopsy. He's been involved in this a lot. I mean, it was him that it was Baden that actually brought up some of the suspicious elements to do with the JFK assassination, because he's quite old. He's been doing this a long time, and he brought some of the suspicious elements to do with that too. So, but it's possible. Anything's possible, Colin.
I mean, even go as far as people saying body doubles, clones, and things like that. I'm not saying that that's happened here, but it's just something else that you're never too sure what's going on. Anything can be.
If JFK Jr. was alive, that would be great, because
it'd be a good reveal, wouldn't it, to the end of a movie?
Because he was basically the most famous member of the Clinton body count. Because everyone who pisses off Bill and Hillary Clinton end up having some kind of accident or injury or illness or suicide. Plane crash is the most common, and indeed John Kennedy did actually die in a plane crash, supposedly.
Yeah.
If he's still alive, I don't know. But, suppose it remains to be seen, doesn't it?
Well, we might find out in the next few months, you know. I mean, kind of expecting some things to happen back in April when the lockdown happened. Now it's into July, and I don't know, you know, it's a very unstable place, America. There's a lot of angry people, there's a lot of polarity, there's things are kicking off, and I think there's going to be more trouble leading up to the election. We'll see what happens, but it's certainly interesting times we're living in. I mean,
yes,
you can say that for sure.
Definitely. There's a presidential election in November, and it's going to be the deep state are going to do everything they can to get Trump out.
All assets deployed, as Keith says in his thing. All assets, and that includes sleeper agents in the Republican Party as well, because it's not just about the parties and whether you're Democrat. It's just, you know, the corruption has come under this time. The more deeper corruption's come under, you know, the likes of Hillary Clinton, and I think the Obama as well. I think there's a lot of stuff to what's going to come out about, you know, Trump being spied on leading up to the election, and I think they called it Obamagate and all that sort of thing. And you know, I just kind of thought that Obama, you know, in the early days was quite a good guy, and I even remember putting a bet on that he would be a, you know, make a disclosure. But now, looking in hindsight, I'm a bit suspicious of it all. You know, there's sort of claims about, you know, all sorts of things with him and his wife, and even if that's their real children. And the trouble is when you start looking into these sort of how the dark works, and you know, it's you know, you get a bit suspicious, and you just wonder if they pulled another fast one. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know, Obama's children don't look like either him or Michelle or Michael, as we could call him. And it's the fact that they're both male. I mean, science can do a lot these days, but they can't make two blokes have a baby. But yeah, you know, it's like the thing about it is, like, I mean, a lot of people like Styx and people like that, Styx Hexenhammer and that. They're going, oh, don't worry about it. Trump has this enthusiasm advantage. He's the incumbent. Everyone, you know, his approval rating's very high, and people are really, really enthusiastic about it. Biden's this senile old fool who like licks girls' ears and things like that. He's never going to get in. But I think these people, maybe they underestimate, or they haven't taken into account the level of corruption the deep state is capable of. Of course, Biden won't win an election, but
the rumour is he's going to pull out, isn't he? Just before, a month before or something. Because I'm not even sure if he's agreed to do the debates, the presidential.
Well, if he does, you see,
debates, but I think he'll make a fool of himself. I don't know. I mean, it's so messed up. You have to laugh at it all, really.
Yeah. I mean, he will. If he refuses to do the debates, obviously that's because he can't beat Trump in a debate. And of course, that ought to be the death sentence of a campaign. But of course, in this corrupt world, it's not necessarily, because obviously people aren't going to vote for Biden. And they're going to, obviously more people are not going to vote for Biden than vote for Trump, because Biden has a terrible credibility problem. Even the Democrats, you know, the Democrats are very disappointed by the candidate who ended up rising to the top. And so they're going to cheat. They're going to rig the election with postal ballots and things like that.
Yeah, they want to get another strain of the virus. Because, I mean, it seems to be getting worse in America for whatever reasons. But, you know, I think they want people to give the postal ballots to stop people actually getting out. And
they want an all postal ballot election, which will mean they can very easily rig it. Electoral fraud is very easy when you're dealing with postal votes. Which, I mean, Trump himself tweeted about this, and he got fact-checked by Twitter.
I know, it's unbelievable.
You see, this is the concern of mine. The deep state are going to they're going to go hell bent for leather to try and undo the mistake they made in 2016, and it's up to us, I think.
I'm worried that they might. If it turns out they're not going to win, they might resort to a sort of scorched earth policy where they'll just start. You know, I don't know.
They're kind of doing that already.
Well, they are. But I just think they may just make it even worse.
I mean, they're well aware. I think they're well aware.
Start lashing out, killing.
Who knows what they'll do? I mean, they may go for the fake alien invasion or something.
Well, that's a possibility.
The impeachment didn't work. You know, the impeachment didn't work. COVID-19 didn't work. The LDAM didn't work. I mean,
speaking of which, the New York. I think it's the New York Times. It's supposed to be doing an article in the next few days about the. Crash resource recovery. You know, some of these crash UFOs. I think they're going to be covering like crashed UFO materials in the New York Times, believe it or not.
Hey, how about that? Yeah.
So that's going to come out. I'm not sure what sort of spin they're going to put on it, but that could be a shock but it also might be a distraction. You know, I kind of thought this the other day that maybe this is attempt to hide their more nefarious activities by trying to take people's eye off the ball with what's actually going on. You know, as much as I love, to see some sort of disclosure happen, I am a little bit wary, especially as those newspapers and the Washington Post and I think New York Times are predominantly those liberal newspapers. They are the voice of the deep state. So I know some people are saying, well, it's still a good thing that they're talking about, and I think that is true. So I mean, I do sort of think it's good that they are coming out with this article, because it's going to stir a lot of debate, but I'm also a little bit wary.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it does. I mean, it's going to be. There's going to be very desperate measures on both sides. Absolutely, and one of those could be. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing. I know this is to do with Bob Bigelow and all the stuff he did with ATIP. I'm looking forward to reading about that, because we're just. But I mean, the stuff he did for ATIP. But I've always said the most likely disclosure will be fake disclosure.
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's in their interest to know about crashed, UFOs and recoveries, because they'd rather you think, well, they're not actually here already, and that they've been back engineering. So that opens up a whole can of worms. So I kind of feel like that they might sort of. That's certainly they don't want that information out. They don't want stuff like Roswell, Aztec, these other crashes out, because that then means you have to review history and how things have been suppressed.
No, this is the thing. What it can do, it digs them out of a rather nasty public relations quandary. Because if for example the fake disclosure, which will be something along the lines of, yes, there are aliens, yes, we've known about it for over 70 years, yes, we have debris and things like that, and bodies, we have the saucer and the hangar, but we didn't tell you. The reason we didn't tell you is for the sake of national security, because these aliens are all evil and they want to destroy us Independence Day style. That is it, basically. And you may think, well, why would they do that? Well, the reason is, of course, firstly, it would be a good excuse to put in a state of emergency, just like Independence Day, to save the world from these nasty aliens. As Carol Rosin said, it's the last card. If they're willing to play that last card, they'll play it.
Look how effective fear is. I mean, you only have to look at COVID-19, and people are so scared to not only go outside the house, but when they do go outside the house, you're treated like some sort of monster just because you're within 2 meters of them. So God knows, when you start telling people these aliens are, and there could be, like, I don't know, say they're invisible, and or they can get you at night, they're taking our children and all this stuff, and then people will just, again, they'll be saying, oh, save us, and all that sort of thing. So I think it's a real concern, Ben. I'm kind of always have been worried about that, especially I think they probably do have footage of possibly UFOs attacking aircraft. I mean, I'm not one of these people who thinks that Korea, but they're all good. I mean, I'm sure, as I understand it, there was these galactic wars for millions of years. That's what I found out. So clearly, what I understand is that we were making some deals with the more darker star nations, and that says it all, really.
Well, the aliens, for anyone who studies this subject in detail, will soon find out that the actual extraterrestrials themselves, there are many, many different types. There's many different species. They come in many different forms. They obviously have many different origins, and they display a wide variety of behaviours. They seem to have a wide variety of agendas. There are some indeed that appear to be rather unpleasant, I must say. There's a few that are very, very nice as well. The ones that Mary Rodwell talks about, who are helping the children to evolve spiritually. However, the majority, I would say, are keeping us under disinterested observance. I would say we appear to be. It's like we're being studied. I think by people who appear to be neither good nor bad. They're just merely rather like naturalists or scientists of some kind. That's it's a neutral observance. That seems to be the most common way of assessing this. However, it's pretty clear that, like, if the media propaganda machine gets going in a certain direction, they will paint this kind of War of the World scenario. They'll paint this war of the world scenario, and they'll say, look, they're all evil because look at these mutilations of cattle and stuff. Look at this plane that was destroyed by them, and indeed that has happened.
Especially if they're non-human looking. I mean, people are more obviously going to be more scared at things that are like your stereotypical grades or whatever, and if they're human, then you think, well, that's might be more comforting. But if they're inhumane and they're non-humans, then that's going to be freak people out even more.
It's actually worth watching. If you've not seen Independence Day, as this Roland Emmerich's 1996 thriller, it's worth watching it. It's an absolutely atrocious film, but it is from a position of simply studying propaganda and how it works. It's very revealing because it's very obvious. It's a very blunt, very sort of monolithic kind of piece of rhetoric, I'd say. It's probably designed for like the lowest common denominator in terms of intelligence. But you have there's that scene of the two planes taking off. One's got an Israeli flag on it, the other's got an Iraqi flag on it. Sworn enemies united to protect the earth from so these two countries hate each other, but they put their differences aside, as Ronald Reagan says. Our earthly differences would fall away if we were faced from a threat from beyond this world. And indeed, if they're that desperate, as Carol Rosin was rightly said, I think, at the Disclosure Project press conference 20 years ago, I think she quite rightly said, based on what Werner von Braun had told her. And she's probably right, actually. I think if they wanted to play that last card, they'd play it. And that's what they would do. I think they would.
I think they might, even before that. I mean, there's still some predictions about asteroids and things, and using that one first to sort of frighten people, But I definitely think the alien is it's got to be played out to some level. But that's good then, because then at least as long as we still have a voice, then we can at least go out and sort of give our own views and counterclaims about what if the deep state allows us to. But
they're going to try and stop us. Obviously, they've been banning people from YouTube, and they're going to ban. I mean, like I've always said, like if I disappear, don't be surprised if I disappear from mainstream social media. I'm on alternative platforms, so you can find me there. But there's our job, I think, as truth seekers and truth tellers, is to try and cut across that and try to dilute it so it doesn't work. I mean, this is what Ian R. Crane said, because I believe, and he's probably right, he said this, and he's probably right, that originally there'd been a plan for some kind of fake alien invasion at the London Olympics. Do you remember the Olympics? That was back in 2012. 8 years, that's quite a long time. 8 years ago.
Remember, they also had that National Health Service thing where they had all those kids in those beds and that, and people after the pandemic were saying, this is interesting, sort of predictive programming. So, I was kind of wary. I'm sure if they could do things, I think they've been trying. I don't think it's for the lack of one of trying, but I think that maybe they're being held in check, and maybe this virus thing, I think it was supposed to be a lot worse than it was. Maybe, I hear stuff like the idea was to get rid of literally 1 billion people, and then I think there may have been some outside influence, some spiritual galactic level that have maybe diminished the virus, and it's actually turned itself back on those that released it. So I do believe it was man-made and released on purpose, or accidentally on purpose. So I think that they've turned it around to a win for although it may not seem to people that we are living in more sort of George Orwell times, and I still think that there was a reason why it was allowed to happen, and it's changed the game for a lot of people, and I think a lot of operations of the light are underway, and lots of positive things, and I actually think this will lead us to more possibility of UFO truth coming out, just because we are in a sort of collapse, and people have always said the big worry would be that religion and the economy would collapse. Well, the economy is literally going. Religion's not been in too good a place for a number of years, so maybe it is a good time to sort of drop the disclosure bomb, or at least a bit of it. So
who knows? I mean, what I know is what's good is that for the last 4 or 5 years, every plan the deep state has had has backfired. Everything they try to do just undoes them. I mean, they've really lost a massive amount of ground in the last 5 years or so, with Brexit, with Trump, and things like that. Which means Boris Johnson as well, and people like that, and things like that. Which means that hopefully that will carry on. Hopefully, this whatever they're planning with the coronavirus, all the different things this serves, all the different purposes that serves, it'll be the end of it. It'll backfire as well. It's going. Where are we going? Where are we now? Is this Marlborough?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh right, we're at Marlborough. This is where the Bases Project Conference wasn't it? Was it 2015 Bases Project Conference?
I was passing through here.
The Merlin Mound.
Yeah, I think they cut all the trees back. You might be able to see it. That's what.
Well, let's see if we can find it. I mean, this is a...
Yeah, the other end of I think you're at the end.
It's a lovely town, this. But, yeah, I'm hopeful that things will work out. I mean, it's... obviously, they're going to try and prevent the deep state taking over at the next election. Because... I mean, the thing is, if Biden wins, we'll know that it has to be rigged. Because no one is going to vote for that guy for any reason other than you really hate Trump, or it was just completely rigged anyway.
And also, I mean, what they say is, if America falls, we all fall. So you know, if that is comes under the deep state, then let's see that all the draconian things brought in there will come over to the United Kingdom.
Yes.
If they're not already here, but it will be a lot worse. And because I'm a bit cynical now for Boris Johnson, I think he might even be on his way out. I mean, I was kind of positive at the beginning, but a bit like Miles, really. I think we're both quite cynical about it, and I still think that Trump's the main man, really. I might be wrong. Maybe he's just.
I'm also. I mean, I'm not. I think it seems that Boris has been tamed somewhat. I know there's people like Caroline Stevens who will say, "Oh, he was always tamed from the start, Ben." You know, but I don't think he was from the start. But I mean,
when he got ill, he might have had the life frightened out of him. You know, he might have been on.
Or they may threaten the baby. I mean, he's got a new baby. They may threaten the baby. It's easy to control a man who has these, you know, when he has like kids and stuff. And I suspect that he has been tamed. Now, it doesn't mean he can't. Unlike Caroline. Several other people, I believe that he is good. He's a good guy deep down. He may find some way to gain back the control he's lost without harming or risking his loved ones. So I'm not ready to give up on Boris, but I am disappointed that he hasn't done more. I did hope for more. I mean, he's sticking by the Brexit agenda. That's something, anyway. I mean, they're not gonna fuck around with. Oh, we're going to delay it. We're going to delay the negotiations. They are getting on with it. They're getting on with this process, this transitional period. We're post-Brexit now. We have left the EU. There's no point keeping us anywhere other than sheer spite. Now, there are some people who are just so spiteful. They'd see the economy crash. They'd see middle-class families living in tents, just to get Trump out. They do it just to get Trump out. That is scorched earth. I mean, they're doing.
It's amazing how much division. I mean, in Facebook friends, I noticed them. Not that I know these people that well, but other people involved in the UFO subject, and they're real like Trump hating people, and I feel like I'm just wondering. It's tempting to sort of unfriend these people. I mean, probably they think the same about me, you know. But I can see how the polarity is affecting everyone. It's like he's either, you know, saving the world or he's destroying it. There's no middle ground, really. I mean, I'm not sure if there's anyone who's saying, well, maybe we'll just wait and see, and maybe we should all take that attitude a bit. But I'm so cynical of you know, the likes of Clintons and all that dark stuff. I can't sit on the fence on that side.
Wiltshire. We're in God's own country now.
Thank God for that, and not a moment too soon. But I mean, So the polarity is like, I don't know. It's really coming. It's like the division bell has rung, and everything's being split apart.
Good album by Pink Floyd, The Division Bell. You know, I've had that. I've had someone, you know, I've had people. Obviously, there's people within the UFO Paracon movement. They have a wide variety of views when it comes to, you know, more conventional politics and even unconventional ones like me and Colin. But I know people like you are Trump haters. They into Bernie Sanders and things like that. And it doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't get angry with people. I'm not the sort of person who gets angry with other people for disagreeing with me on these things. The only thing that really bugs me is people's conduct. When people start getting rude and I block them and things like that. I don't think I ever blocked anyone for having a difference of opinion. But I had someone posted something the other day. It was like, oh, if you don't support Black Lives Matter, please remove me now. And I thought, And I did. I said, I unfriended him, and I said, "Oh, suit yourself. Bye then." And he says, "Well, good riddance to you piece of gammon." And I said, "Well, if you're going to use racist terms like gammon, I won't miss you. Goodbye." And he blocked me. Well, it is gammon. Gammon is a racist term. It's a racist term for white people, and the people use it with the BLM people. They use it with gay abandon because they think, "Oh, it's not racist when we do it."
What was interesting was all the football, they're all distancing themselves from Black Lives Matter now because it's sort of been hijacked by all these other things that I mean, fair enough, but this, but it's been hijacked, and it's like a political. Then they got views and everything now, so. Yeah, you have to be a bit suspicious of it all. I mean, I just think that should be kept separate from sport. But anyway, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if sportsmen are actually being told they have to bend down on one knee or something. I mean, I've seen lots of people kneeling down, and it's very upsetting to see them do that.
Well, they had this in America with the national anthem, didn't they, as well? Was it American football, and they had to, they didn't, I don't know.
Well, it was originally a protest by Colin Kaepernick, the American footballer, and for him kneeling down was a protest. But of course, kneeling down is like a supplication. It's like an act of submission. It always has been.
Kneel down to
kneeling
anyone.
in front of the Queen.
Yeah, when you start kneeling down to anyone, that's just...
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. I know. I try to persuade people not to do it, and the idea that somehow it makes you a racist for doing that is beyond nonsensical. I mean, if anyone who would think that, it's just how do you dispute with people who are so illogical and so irrational like that? I don't know. It's absurd to call people racist for that. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's almost like if you don't wear a mask, you want to kill people. You're basically you're a potential murderer because you're not wearing a face mask. I mean, what? How did he get here in the space of 3 months or even shorter?
Yeah, I mean,
suddenly the world's gone absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm avoiding all public transport myself. I mean, I know there will come a time when I might have to conform to at least using some public transport, and obviously.
Well, this is the problem. I mean, some people are essentially being forced into a position where you either put on a mask or you don't use public transport at all, or you don't do this and don't do that, which means you lose your job, you lose your family, you lose everything. So I don't judge people who will mask up in those circumstances. What I do say though is there's ways of turning that to your advantage. And one of those is to make your own mask, which you can do very easy, just cutting a piece of cloth, make it a light coloured piece of cloth, and write on it something like, in black felt tip or something, something subversive like COVID-19 equals NWO or something like that, or davidike.com or infowars.com or something like that. And then you're basically
QAnon.
Yes, QAnon or something like that.
4 more years, Trump.
Yes, or hashtag Trump 2020 MAGA, and then of course you're sitting there with a subversive message across your face. And if the conductor or someone comes up on a train and says, "You take that off, please, sir. We don't like those kinds of epithets." I can't take this off. I'm breaking the law. I might get infected. So you turn the tables on them. That's an idea of their Orwellian backfiring. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get better. I like to. There's no, for a start, things aren't ever going to go back to normal. You can take that to the bank.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just what's going to happen in the next 10 years. I do feel like this next decade, I just feel like things will just. It might be slight increments. It might be big things like just happened, like at the start of this virus. Suddenly, you'll just be more rights taken away, more freedom of speech. It's not going to get better, people. You got to, just stand up for what you believe, because there's going to come a time where they're going to come for you. And it's not like America. We've got guns and stuff. We're going to have to join together because they're going to take us all out, basically. And,
I mean, it looks pretty grim. It looks. As Howard Beale said, I don't have to tell you things are bad. Of course, things are bad. I love that film, Network. But he says, I don't know what you're going to do, but first you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it, my life has value. Now, what he means by that, of course, is, and I understand that because we don't know how this is going to go. We don't know how this will end. There's forces in motion which you can't necessarily detect, so we can't necessarily see which way things are going. I mean, there's people who they're doom and gloom mongers who are telling us that the New World Order essentially is here already, and they're blackpilling us into bloody misery, and I can't stand those people. On the other hand, there's the people who are just like overly optimistic and just say, don't worry, it's all been sorted out and everything's. I mean, I personally don't know. Either could be true, but what I know is that when change comes, radical change tends to happen very quickly. So you don't get like slow, gradual reforms and just drifts from one state to another. It happens sometimes, but what you normally get is a long period of equilibrium punctuated by a revolutionary change. That seems to be the way things work within the dynamic of human interaction, politics, sociology, things like that. Which means that even if it seems at the moment like the deep state are clawing back the territory they lost, for example, if they engineer the election so that Joe Biden somehow, is faked into the White House, which is a possibility. I know very well that he could never win an election, but it may not be like a proper election, it may just be a fraud. If that happens, we mustn't lose hope, because we don't know when the corner turns and things start to get better, when you hit that 100th monkey point, change can come very rapidly indeed.
I agree.
Change can come very rapidly indeed. It's like in the mid-1980s when Gorbachev took power in Russia, Mikhail Gorbachev, the last Soviet premier, no one knew that within 7 years the Soviet Union would be destroyed. I think the plan from the Rockefeller Institution was for the Soviet Union to remain. The Cold War was destined to end, but the Soviet Union would turn into a kind of like China plus. It would reform itself into like a nominally socialist but de facto economically capitalist power. That didn't happen. The system collapsed altogether, and a new form came up, which is totally different. It was not what they intended, but it happened very quickly. It happened enormously quickly, almost overnight. I mean, literally within the space of just a couple of years, this whole transformation took place, and we could see the same again, Colin. So we mustn't get. We don't know where it might go. It might go our way. You see, it could be in 2 years' time.
True, because I think even just the basic stuff like restaurants, pubs, and that. If people can't go or and attending things like music concerts and all that sort of stuff, then that if people can't return to going to concerts, getting together down the pub, going for a nice meal in a restaurant, then that's going to freak people out, and that's going to turn them on, and in a way that's going to make them join our cause, our army, because they'll say, well, what's the point of living if I have to give up all these basic rights?
Exactly.
Not that we were that free before, but I mean,
people are just fed up, and there are so many people are fed up with it. I mean,
and then there's all the self-policing going on, saying how could people leave their houses and just a bit longer, another month, and all this stuff, and like stay safe and stay indoors and save lives, and like as if you have become the murderer, you're the one to blame for everything.
Nice pub. Yeah, I mean, I think people have starting to see through it. I think they're starting to see through it, and that's good, because it's like it's been exposed before it. When it's not too late to stop it, I think. And more people are questioning things like like that. This is Marlborough. I'm just going to keep the camera forward for the time being, because we're actually in Marlborough, where the bases at Merlin's Mound conference took place. Because it's I mean, the number of people I see like on social media, like where it's not all just the mainstream media telling us what we're supposed to see. The number of people who can see through things.
Yeah.
The amount of awareness about the COVID-19 thing is incredible, and also the cultural Marxism and things like that. The people being sacked for saying, "Oh, white people aren't evil" and things like that. All lives matter. Oh, you're out. Things like that. And here we go. We're just going through here now. We recognise this in a minute, because we've been here before, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
We were filming here. Was 2015?
You've got a better memory than me.
Yeah, 2015. The bases at Merlin Mount. Yeah. I was going to say also, like the UFO situation has now completely transformed since 2017. It's totally transformed, Cole. Totally and utterly.
What's that, sorry?
So the UFO situation.
Yes.
I mean, the official religion in denial.
Oh, absolutely, and even Trump talking about it.
Do you, what you said about Roswell the other day?
Yeah, there's some confusion there now if whether that was actually it's sort of kind of more felt it was implied to Area 51. Or to be fair, they both did say the word Roswell, so you can't sort of get out of it that way. But you know, when he says open it up, I mean, because I think the previous debate was about Area 51. I think that's why that previously it was talked about. Yeah, you can't. That's a positive one, because I think the last time Trump did say something sort of, I think he says, well, I trust my Air Force or whatever, but he's not. I think he said not particularly. You know, whether he was. But you know, we all know about Trump's bluffing, and he's playing. You know, he's like he's actually playing a theatrical role at this moment, and but like you say, it's a very positive thing. That, like you say, the UFO stuff is. So those people involved in the cover-up, I think they're getting a bit twitchy now, because it's still going to hit the fan. And
it's odd that
people want to know the answer.
It's odd that this whole. This is Marlborough School here,
there you go.
And it's in there, somewhere in there. We had our conference. I remember they went in through these gates, and Merlin's Mound. We'll see it in a minute.
You'll see it. I think they cut all the trees.
And there's like a little bridge of size just around here. You'll see in a sec. This is all Marlborough here. And there's the Bridge of Sighs. That's why I call it, because it's like the one in Oxford, which is called that.
Bridge of Sighs?
Yeah, it's like a bridge with a window in, things like that. And the Merlin's Mound is in there. It's somewhere around here. It's one of these. There it is. You see Merlin's Mound there? It's one of these posh schools. It's one of these posh boarding schools where the kids get, like, God knows what. They hear horrible stories of what happens to good-looking young boys in schools like that. Yeah. But basically, the whole UFO situation has transformed. The official ridicule and denial method has changed with the release of the ATIP footage, the Tic Tac footage and stuff. And the whole way the media treats the subjects has transformed. This isn't disclosure with a capital D. But it's obviously a radical change of strategy after they never changed their policy for 70 whole years. Ever since the Twining Memo, 1947. Official ridicule and denial, down the line. Upshot, and then suddenly they changed their tune.
Yeah.
Why is that, Colin?
I think it's something to do with the Trump administration, because he was the one who brought in the whole idea of a Space Force when no one had ever talked about it before. I actually think he's been given a timeline, and he's working, you know, on a high level. He's got protection from these benevolent ETs. They have a timeline, and they're unraveling it all. And I think what will happen with the Space Force, it will be there might be some shocks to the future, and the Space Force might be one of those positives which will, you know, lift, and that and the new technology. So I definitely think that he is aware, and he's a bit of a poker face there. But there is stuff going on behind the scenes. But I think it'll be synchronised once certain other truths have come out. I think there's a lot before we start talking about the full disclosure stuff. I think there's a lot of things to come out about dark stuff like child trafficking, organ trafficking, and also ritual abuse. Once those three things come out, then once people have reached that shock, then we might start heading off into sort of more out there things, and you know, because that'll make people question what life's all about, basically, and their head will be in they'll start thinking, well, you know, how did we get to this stage? How did these crimes go on for such a long time, and what else was being hidden from us? So I kind of feel like it will come, but there's a few more dominoes to fall on certain other subjects beforehand.
It could be. I mean, the domino thing is good. Like, as we were talking about with Ghislaine Maxwell, she's a domino near the front, not the back.
Oh, yeah.
Which means, and of course, this a lot of the subjects we talk about are also dominoes near the front, which means you can't knock them over without knocking a whole load more over, as opposed to the domino near the end, which is you just knock over on its own.
Reaction.
Yeah, exactly. A domino on its end could be something like the expenses scandal, or something like that, or Monica Lewinsky, or something like. Obviously, it's a scandal, but it's no big deal. The dominoes near the front are like the UFOs. The thing to do with children is by far, I think, the most horrible and well-kept secret of all, and it's going to be the worst one for us to deal with. I don't think the UFO cover-up or 9/11 or anything like that is going to be as bad for us to deal with as what's actually happening.
The organ thing's quite a big thing as well. That's going to come out, and I think because China obviously is quite involved in all this. some dark stuff that's been going on there. Not that every country, I'm sure it goes on in every country, but obviously in more of a communist state there's a lot of darker things, I'd say, going on there. But
yeah, it's just thing, isn't it? Yeah, but it's I suspect that, as I said, none of these things can really fall over on their own. The UFO, I think the UFO's disclosure will automatically ask questions about the cures for cancer. The cures for cancer will automatically make people ask questions about 9/11 and 7/7.
Yeah.
Those will lead to other questions. It's literally, this is going to be a massive unravelling, and very, very quickly.
It may be a point where people are literally like going outside and sort of praying to God for some sort of intervention. I mean, that can work both ways, from nefarious forces as well, of course. But when people have reached the stage where, like, you know, they're questioning who's actually running this planet, if there is actually a God, because this sounds such a horrific place to live, and for thousands of years it was all kept hidden. There's going to be a lot of people suffering mental.
Lovely scenery. Yeah, they will be. It's lovely.
And also a lot more after the UFO stuff, no doubt, comes out.
Yeah.
We're going to have the debate about the whole angels and demons thing.
Oh, that's really fun. The religious people will love that.
Well, I mean, it's quite interesting because a lot of the people in charge, like this Wilson, Commander Wilson memo is alluding to that they're actually quite religious nature. So I don't know if they're just taking it from a perspective of being, you know.
Well, I hope they do. I mean, I'd like, if there are benevolent ETs out there and they want to lend a hand, I'll happily swallow my pride. I mean, I'd say to the Pleiadians, for example, or the ones that are very often mentioned, you know, stop sitting around on your own planet talking to Carol Noonan and just come here, land, say hello, and just fight with us to beat this evil cabal. I mean, I know you have this prime directive or whatever it is, you know, but you know, in Star Trek, of course, in Star Trek, one of the fun things about that series is they break the rules. That's the thing, they end up breaking the rules.
Yeah.
And then often there's a lot of like inner conflict, and there's a lot of debate over what they should do within the crew. Kirk, Spock, McCoy, etc.
The prime directive, you mean?
Yeah. And they very often end up breaking the rule. They often decide in the end to intervene. Because they realise there's a moral imperative which overweighs the rule book that they've been taught to follow. This is the Vale of Pusey, isn't it lovely? Oh, isn't that beautiful?
I think the way round they got round that, maybe, you know, is that if you have star people incarnating on the planet, then maybe they can intercede more, you know, I don't know.
Well, exactly, yes. I mean, I wouldn't make, what was it, the word they used about Hong Kong? They have what is it, a colonial duty of care. Do you know people, there's this thing about saying about how, because there's a move afoot to move people from Hong Kong to Britain now, because it's a former British colony. In fact, it was a leased hold basically for 99 years, so it's not a proper British overseas territory. But still, there's several people claiming we have a duty of colonial care to the people of Hong Kong. Well, maybe if they really seeded us and they've really been sort of like intervening with us, maybe they have a duty of colonial care to us. And there is Silbury Hill. Oh, man.
Rain either.
And I mean, the rain, there's heavy rain's been forecast, hasn't seen any yet.
I think today was actually...
There's the lovely Silbury Hill there. We're actually not, this isn't the Vale of Pusey, this is actually slightly north of the Vale of Pusey. We're heading towards that area now. But there's the old big Silbury Hill. Beautiful 5,000-year-old massive mound. Tumulus. Absolutely huge, yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe they will... maybe they'll show their faces and fight with us against these bloody Illuminati. I don't know. I hope so. Oh, that's a very boring voice your Sandman's got.
I need to get someone like. Who do I need to get?
You can get like you get novelty ones.
You get ufologists doing it, maybe.
Yeah.
Who'd you like, Ben?
Nick Pope. I can neither confirm or deny whether you take the next right or the next left. All I can say is I can't rule out you should go for the second exit. Oh, Avery, we're getting close to Avery now. But anyway, I think we've had an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I'll switch the camera on again in a minute because if there's lovely views. But I think this has been quite funny. Oh, there's Devices. We're heading for Devices. Bishop's Canning
is open. That's the big news.
We are now in the official Crop Circle Heartland. I expect to see Matthew Williams' drone following the car at any minute. I expect to see Maria Wheatley digging underneath some barrow, and I expect to see Holland Jenkins sort of standing in a field. And let's look at this. Now we're in the Vale of Pewsey. Oh, this is lovely. Any crop circles? Can you see any?
Well, we have had some good ones.
There's that. Is it there? Yeah. Oh, I've lost it now. There's that bloody thing, isn't it? The obelisk.
Oh, 2001.
No, you're thinking of the monolith. No, the obelisk. There's an obelisk. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
I can't film the bastard. It won't focus. Sorry.
There's a white horse near there.
Yeah, that's the White Horse obelisk. Remember, we did film there with the basis constable. We found that weird thing that Steve Mumbling goes on about. You know, the what was it? The cement place, the cement works, or whatever else we would. But this is like, according to Percy and Bennett in that book Dark Moon, and the 2/3 book. This is like a Mars. This is a mirror of the Sidonia on Mars. Yeah, and Silbury Hill is like there's this Tholos on Mars, this hill, and north of that is like a crater, circular crater, and it is actually Silbury. That's a reference. It's like Silbury Hill. And you come along here, we're more or less here is sort of where the face would be, and there's like a clump of trees and a very, very small monolith, and that is where the side of the DNM pyramid, you know, the 5-sided pyramid on Mars, that's it. Now, you might say, what the hell are we talking about? Because this is Earth, not Mars, but it's like a map, it's like a reproduction of the same landscape, only this is 14 times smaller. It's a 14:1 scale. The one on Mars is 14 times bigger. But it is an exact match. It's uncanny. Now, how on earth can landscape on Earth and Mars, including like ancient monuments and things like that, how can they possibly resemble each other?
Exactly.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The funny thing about crop circles is there's like I said this in my last video. The fewer there are, they're maybe fewer because of the lockdown, but they're much more likely to be man-made. They're much less likely to be man-made because the human crop circle makers will not be around. So there'll be fewer in number, but I think they're more likely to be like the real thing, alien-made.
I think you're right. They have had some good ones this season. It's only been about, I don't know, 7 or
There was none at all until the end of May, and then there was like this thing that I call the broken egg. It looks like someone's dropped an egg and it's gone splat. And then there was a couple of others. Crop Circle Connector's got a few details, a few more. Matthew Williams has flown his drone over them and filmed them. Really amazing footage. But in a sense, the coronavirus lockdown has created a really good experimental control. Because obviously you can't eliminate the possibility that human circle makers are going out, but it's a lot more difficult for them.
You'd say so, but I suppose it's coming more to an end now, where we can go outside now.
Yeah, but I mean, people are. There may be more now, but people are always. Do you know people are always predicting the end of crop circles? It's really interesting.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, the crop circles still continue. People are always predicting they're going to end. They don't end. They keep going. I mean, Andy Thomas makes this point every year in Nexus magazine. He does this crop circle report, and he says, "Oh, once again we have people saying that the crop circles was going to end, and once more they carry on." There's a bit of harvesting going on here. Early harvesting for some of the crops. It's only it's actually the 3rd of July today, so there's some sheep over there. But and I could never. Where is that clump of trees where the DNM pyramid is supposed to be? I can't see it, Colin. I can't, but it's somewhere along here. And I think some of you might appreciate this little bit of video because, especially those of you who don't live in the UK and are not able to visit. This is one of the most remarkable landscapes in the world we're passing through right now. Just from the Beckhampton roundabout to Devizes, it's like, oh, you can almost feel it's like a chill, it's like a thrill of this in an energetic form along here.
Maybe we can go up Nap Hill actually later on, do a bit of a sky watch if you want.
Oh, I'd be happy
if it's
to.
not too
I'd be happy to, mate.
Did that on the last trip.
If the rain holds off, then why not?
It might be better off doing it today rather than tomorrow because it might be raining.
Well, I think the forecast actually looks worse tonight than tomorrow.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think my one was saying this one is going to be dry today and rain tomorrow.
Oh, right, maybe.
We'll check when we get in.
We'll check anyway. Yeah, but there's the underground base there, look. Nah, not really. I was just kidding. Anyway, we're nearly at Devizes now, so we're going to go and see Mr. Miles. And we're going to stop at Aldi, get some beers.
Yeah.
We're going to go and see the Milester. And at some point we check out by the time you've watched this it'll probably be on there, but the Basis Project, check the Basis Project YouTube channel because there will be some videos of me and Colin on there. So I don't know what they're going to be yet because we haven't filmed them yet, but by the time this is uploaded it'll be available, so check that out. It's Megawatts 1066 on YouTube. We're back in Colin's car now. We've just been into Lidl in Devizes. We had to queue in the usual coronavirus sort of like lockdown way, but it moved pretty quickly. You know, we stocked up on. We've got 10 bottles of lager, 3 bottles of wine. What else have we got, Colin?
I think that's just basic stuff.
Quite a lot. That's keep us going. It's like what Tony Hancock said. You know, this is just going to get the dust out of our throats, mate. We're coming back for the proper booze tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah. So we're now heading for Miles's house, and it looks like it's rush hour here in Devizes, so it might take us a while, but not to worry. Not to worry. We've made good time. The traffic's been pretty good generally, so anyway, I've got some interesting things here I want to just show you. I bought some books to read. Now, I thought I bought some appropriate books, so I'm rereading this again, The Hunt for 0 Point by Nick Cook. But I've got a new title here. It's a new book that's just come out, and this is actually, Nick actually gave me this. He actually gave me this. He gave me a copy because I'm going to interview him about it. The Great British Coronavirus Hoax, A Skeptic's View by Nick Holstrom, PhD. And you see someone being arrested on the beach. Law-abiding citizens views as criminal and yeah. Never before has Britain seen such events as these at the start of 2020. Many people doubt that the decisions were wisely made for the Great British Lockdown. Did a globalist agenda override proper consideration for citizens' health? Are digital identities and mandatory vaccinations being pushed onto all of us for something no worse than the normal flu? Have many died because of the lockdown, not because of the coronavirus? Was the whole pandemic pre-planned in 2019? Could the supposed virus, which was said to have appeared in Wuhan, actually be a bioweapon? I think these are all rhetorical questions here from Nick. This is a book for the general reader who wants to know not only how catastrophically wrong decisions were reached, but also how health is our own business to preserve, not the government's. Nick Holstrom, a science historian and prolific reality analysis author, was a founder member of Britain's 9/11 Truth Movement. For many years, he's been at the vanguard of Britain's battle for the truth. You know, he runs a group called Keep Talking in London, which I've never been to because it's on Thursday evening when the bloody the Panmo show comes out. I'd always like to go there, and I've offered to speak there. So that's something to keep me quiet. If there's not, well, I probably won't get time to read it because there's always a bundle of laughs when Colin, Miles, and I get together. But just in case, what's your jacket, Miles? This is amazing. Look at this.
This is a one-off made by a Basis fan, and you could have one too if you go to Excalibur Wolf Phoenix with an E.
Will you do a Panwo one for me? The Basis project.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Oh, wicked. There's the hand there.
See?
There's alien hand.
That's actually an alien hand.
Yeah. And what's at the back? Let's
we got this.
Miles Basis project. Yeah, look, there's that Basis hand there. Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
That is very smart.
For the price of one, you get two.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, mate. It's reversible.
And, you can have one too. You can have one like this, exactly the same, if you want, for your size. Everything is custom made for your personal size. And there's a whole lot of stuff for women, and it's there's it wrecked.
Don't rip that, mate. Oh.
Yeah, let's just get my, see?
And there's... Oh look, it's Basis project.
Can you name the
there's people. Oh my goodness me. There's Barry King. There's Simon Parks.
Buy Down
Max
Bitches
Spears.
should be on that as well.
Yeah, bow down.
Sasha Stone is on it.
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, the Sasha Stone.
David Arnott.
Oh my goodness, there's Max Spears again. There's lots of Aliens.
Yeah.
And lots
And he does these as art as well.
Is that Richard
posters
Golden?
and banners.
Very nice. What's his name?
Excalibur Wolf.
Excalibur
Phoenix.
Wolf Phoenix, right.
Which is Phoenix spelt with the E-O as opposed to O-E.
Right. Okay.
He's not a Phoenician, in other words. A bit subtle, a bit deep there.
Well, that's very nice.
These are the maximum price he does. Everything's 150 quid.
Oh, right.
So that's the top and the bottom. So you can get, you know.
So expect me to be wearing a Hapanwo one very
You have
soon.
to give him the right measurements. So this is for me, customized for me. So then he prints the cloth, and then it's made into a garment.
Nice. Well, I'll
And
just
it's laser printed with a very high temperature thing.
I'll get my
So-
I'll get my tape measure out and get him to do one for me.
Yeah.
Nice one, Miles. Well done. Very smart
This
indeed.
is an artist. This is a guy inspired by the Basis Project in Australia, and I'm very honoured to have it made for me and sent as a present.
Congratulations, mate. I like your T-shirt as well.
Yeah, that's
Think outside the box. Very good.
full of bits that were dribbled on.
That's right.
That's
Reminds
a
me of old
coffee.
Howard Beale of the network, you know.
Yeah, Howard
The
Beale.
tube has brought you up. The tube has made you think this way. It's educated you. It's raised you. And it's the nice one,
I
Miles.
can't stand this anymore.
Thanks very much.
Right.
Okay, we have just left the home of Miles Johnston, and with lots of dirty looks from the neighbours as we were walking out. I mean, you know, I think Miles is a bit of a pariah in the local community, actually. If you when you consider like the stuff he gets up to, and he lives in quite a respectable part of town as well. So, having Miles Johnston in your neighbourhood knocks at least £40,000 off the price of your house, apparently. So, but anyway, we're now. It's going to rain soon. Forecasting in the next couple of
Got a
hours.
few hours. Yeah, we've got a couple of hours.
Couple of hours. So we're going to just do a little bit of sky watching because maybe our only chance. So we're going to go to Nab Hill, which is the highest point in Wiltshire, and we're going. You know it. We've been there before. I've been there with David Griffin, and Colin and I have been there before, and you do often see some odd things there. But if we don't, it's a beautiful spot. So
Yeah.
we're going to do that. So we're going to head in there now. Okay, we're now at Nab Hill. Colin, the Goodwill out. I like that, Colin, on the back of the jersey. And that there is Nab Hill. You see, it's got like an old ancient fortification there, long ago. And it's just a perfect place. You can see for miles from here. It's the highest point in Wiltshire. I don't know how much you can hear of me, because this is the highest point in Wiltshire, and there's an ancient fortification there. In the Iron Age, that was a big castle. And we're now heading along here. Look at that.
It's like a ridge.
I've not been this way before, but I'm showing something new. Apparently, there's a Winkeech spot along here. Now, you know how successful Winkeech is at capturing UFOs, so hopefully we might be as well. I'm not expecting to see UFOs tonight, but we just thought we'd come here and have a look at the place. Colin actually was in a video a couple of weeks ago on Standard Roy's channel, which unfortunately has been flagged for some reason, but hopefully it'll be back soon. But it's been flagged twice. Hopefully it will return though, because I know it's been contested. The strike has been contested, so hopefully it will return soon. But she interviews you, doesn't she, Colin? It's quite something. She interviews on this spot. Well, someone near here. All right, take the high road. Da, 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 la, 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 la. Look at that. What a view. It's a bit windy. I don't know how much you can hear me when I'm not pointing the camera at you myself.
Coming up today, but I think the rain's going to come at the weekend. So.
Yeah. That's it. It's going to be raining this weekend, so we are. Oh wow, man! No, it's a good place, though, isn't it? It's a nice spot.
I think it's 7 but set up cameras and bars involved later on with the capture circle maker film. And I think that was basically where it was all.
That's Eastfield. That's Eastfield, isn't it? East field is like it's a massive field. It's like one a square mile, but it has so many crop circles in. There's only been a couple of years when it hasn't had any over the years. I saw my first crop circle here, Cole.
Are you joking, yeah?
My first ever crop circle. I came here about probably 1998, 1999, and I saw my first crop circle from more or less from here or up there, and it was in the East field here. Really amazing.
It's a great view. I mean, it's not as good as the view up there, but it's just an alternative view. It's worth seeing. You know where the Natfield car park is, at Eastgate. But go straight on, and you can get to this little area. And, I'll give you a look up here in the coming months, because July and August are the peak season for crop circles. Well, we'll get one here.
Yeah.
Maybe we should meditate, Ben. Get one down for the week.
Yes. Bring me a crop circle. Bring me a crop circle to Jason Miles' head. I'll put it right there. I'm going up Knapp Hill now, me and Colin. You can't hear me otherwise. You know, like, a few times with her Panwell TV, and Colin and I both did Panwell TV. We came up here in 2015 with David Griffin. That was the Places of Melbourne. Remember that, Colin?
Yeah.
And did you come with us?
Yeah, I did come with it, because I think Dave Morgan was on.
Dave. There's about a cluster of a dozen of us who'd been at the conference, and we saw lights and things like that. And they were from about 3 different directions. It wasn't from the Defence Training Estate either, so it wasn't flared army using a soldier plane. It was definitely not that. And it's really quite an incredible thing. The view is going to be spectacular. Can't we? You can see this is like a rampart. There's a circular rampart all the way around the top of the hill, which means it was a hill fort in the Iron Age long ago. Which is crossing that now to what used to be the interior of the castle, which was not just a castle. An entire village would be packed in around the battlements. It's amazing to think that Queen Boudica herself might have come here in a desperate bid to free Britain from the Roman Empire, the Illuminati rulers. I feel this place is charged with destiny. I can almost feel her spirit talking to me now. Look at this. It's the high spot in Wiltshire. The general area is the high spot in Wiltshire. Do you know why it's called Golden Ball Hill?
It's not David Beckham joke, is it?
It's because, I mean, the reason is probably because, well, ufologists have spotted luminosities and orbs around.
Yeah, well, that's, and there's, exactly, we saw that. We came up there a couple of times, at least, like the Amber Gambler.
The Amber Gambler, yeah, that's often funny. That was the one I saw. See, it's funny, like, the Amber Gambler. I think we were around here, passing over the bridge. I was here with David Griffin. So I don't know if you can hear me, I'll try and raise my voice. I was here with David Griffin in 2015, and we were up on that ridge there, I think. And we saw blue lights, orange lights, yellow lights in that direction and in that direction, and a couple of times over there. It was an amazing sight. It was an amazing thing. I didn't see it properly through David's night vision scope, but I still thought it was seen a vaguely from the naked eye. Really quite something. Beautiful location. My head is uncovered, ladies and gentlemen. You can see where I caught the sun. I decided to take my hat off. I let the breeze get to my scalp, so that's lovely. It's a lovely, lovely feeling up here. It really is. historic site, Walker's Hill. It's actually Mill Hill, Knapp Hill. That's where we were, and you can see across there. It's an amazing place, really is. Now, regular viewers, we're back in the car now. It looks like Colin and I timed it perfectly because the rain has just started. The rain has been forecast to last for the next day or two. Has just started, so we got in there just in time. Well, we got up on the hill to do our little sky watch just in time. Now, regular viewers will remember a film I made called A Walk in the Dark, and it was like a few years ago actually, because it was actually about me walking along this place at night. Now, if you remember the bases at the barge, I think it was about 2013, 2014, I did something rather insane. I travelled down there in the daylight, and then rather than booking accommodation and going back the following morning, I thought I'd be very, very clever, and I'd walk back overnight to Devizes and then wait on Devizes station for the early train. Genius, Ben, genius. It was actually the weather was good, but I was completely alone. It was very spooky. I passed one person walking their dog, and that was it. And I had visions in my head of, animal mutilations, and there was like maybe a chupacabra cow or something, a cow with sharp teeth and red eyes, like from Peasmore or somewhere, coming to drink my blood. And there's that lovely view as we go back down towards the barge. But as it happened, I survived the journey. I had to hang around the Devizes station for about 5 hours. But
sounds like fun.
I sort of tried to sleep a bit. I listened to Dr. Stephen Greer on my earphones, and then I waited for the first. Well, I had to get the first train. It was an off-peak ticket, so I had to wait till about 9:30. It was all right. I just slept a bit, dozed, and got home. Well, good morning. It's Saturday morning now. It's the 4th of July. I'm sitting in this lovely little reclining seat, which sort of like goes right back if I want it to, and I'm here with my friend Colin.
Happy Independence Day.
Yes, it's right. American Independence Day today. We're here with a friend of ours who doesn't wish to be named or filmed, but she's currently watching a. All right. Well, we're watching something we don't want to talk about. Oh, come on, we can talk about Trump. Oh. All right. Earlier on, we were watching Trump's speech at. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning. It's the 4th of July. To my American viewers, happy Independence Day. It's American Independence Day, not British. That's the 31st of January, and I'm here with Colin Woolford.
Happy Independence Day.
Yeah, we're actually in these. We're in this, sitting in these lovely little deck chairs here on this sunny or not so sunny day here in Devizes, Wiltshire, and we are at the headquarters. We're at the official headquarters of the Basis Project, and as you can see, it's not just a complete place with the Basis Project. It is actually a working home as well. And hi there. All right, and we've just been watching. Well, we recently watched an interesting talk, haven't we? So, good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning. It's the 4th of July. Happy American Independence Day to all my American listeners. And I'm here with Colin Woolford.
Happy Independence Day.
We are in the garden of the Basis Project headquarters, because it is like a home as well as a Basis Project headquarters, and we're just reclining on these lovely deck chairs here, which are really, really nice. We sort of like now that the conditions are now lifted, so we can actually go to gardens and sit in gardens with people. We're enjoying that. It's a lovely, not so sunny day here, as you can see here.
Supposed to rain.
Yeah. It's due to rain, but
it's actually, I think it's going to be cloudy now all day, so it's going to be just like this, to be fair. But
yeah, but it's not. I mean, I saw some videos of Colin here last month,
yeah,
and it was lovely,
I got all the
hot
good
weather.
yeah.
You did indeed, Cole. Yeah, but we're now we're not sure what we're going to do now. It's just relaxing, I think, and just enjoying ourselves. And it's not raining. It's quite warm, despite the fact it's cloudy. It's actually quite warm. I'm in my t-shirt, as you can see. We've just been watching Trump's speech. Now, President Trump did a speech last night at Mount Rushmore, which Antifa threatened to bomb because it has the image of slave owners on it. But these are like, I think it's Washington and Jefferson and Lincoln. It's like famous presidents of the US. It was actually constructed on a sacred mountain of the Lakota people, the American Indians. But like I said, well, you know what I think about that. You know what I think about changing history and things like that. But he said so. He said some interesting things in his speech, though, didn't he, Cole? Old Trumpy.
Yeah, I'll be, to be honest, I haven't heard it all, so I don't really. But yeah, he was talking about not letting people desecrate the monuments and things like that of the past. And that.
Yeah.
There might be some coded stuff in there. I just haven't had the time to.
We'll have to have a watch of it. Although apparently we were talking to someone who said that there's symbolism in Melania Trump's dress, because whatever she wears, it means something apparently. So I don't know exactly what that means. But the funny thing is, like, Trump said a really good thing, made a really good speech about the statues being destroyed. He was completely unapologetic, and no, he didn't say, well, I'm going to kneel down and support Black Lives Matter, but no, none of that. He just said it's wrong to do that. And he didn't. I've not seen Trump kneel. He's not kneeled, has he, Cole? I know that. I bet Obama's kneeled, but Trump hasn't. Which is great. I mean, we were talking about this actually. Now, Sticks, Hex and Hammer has not addressed this, but we know that that he's very confident Trump's going to win the election. Now, other people are like criticising Trump because they say he didn't respond properly or to the riots. He went into his bunker because he was scared, right? And all this kind of stuff, and a lot of these stories has led to Biden going ahead in the polls. However, the truth of the matter is, him going into a bunker is standard procedure. Probably the Secret Service insisted on it, you know. But also, local law enforcement, you see. Trump can't just step into and take over local law enforcement. That's the responsibility of the mayor of the city. So that's why it seemed that Trump wasn't doing anything about the riots. It wasn't him, it was the mayors of the city. A lot of them are Democrats. So you could blame them. But if Trump could have, he'd have to declare martial law, and he wasn't in a position to do that. And so hopefully people will realise that. It'll actually lead to Trump going ahead in the polls. And if you check Sticks, Hex and Hammer 666, I like his analysis on things. Although I think he's a bit overly optimistic, Colin, because he's like 90% sure Trump's going to be re-elected. And indeed, if this was going to be a fair election, if it was actually going to be a proper election coming up, I would be probably about 99% sure Trump was going to be re-elected, or 100% actually. But Colin, will it be a fair election in November? What do you reckon?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it might not even go ahead, of course. It might be suspended, of course, because you just never know what's going to happen. There could be all sorts of reasons why it might be delayed, or for whatever reason. But yeah, I'd be worried about any sort of postal ballots, and sounds like they, you know, if you follow the Q stuff, it's all assets deployed. So we've got to be a bit wary about what's going to happen. But he's made it this far, and he's obviously put a lot of his own people in the Senate and things, whatever. So I'm kind of hopeful, really. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I am hopeful, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's too soon to say. I mean, if they're going to play dirty, if the deep state are going to play dirty, then so can the other side. The two can play at that game. And whatever corruption they're planning, like the postal ballots and things like that, we can overcome it. It's interesting. I was watching Andy We Know, which is a great YouTube channel talking about Q, and Q said an awful lot about Ghislaine Maxwell, hasn't he? Yeah. He or she or they, whoever Q is.
I think there's a lot to be said for the silent majority. You know, they talk about the silent majority, and especially people have had a lot of time the last few months, especially in America, to sort of talk amongst themselves, their families and friends, and I think there is a movement, and whether there's, I don't know how many's in the Q movement, but I think a lot of people are suspicious, so I like to think that there is a silent majority who are going to make the right decision, you know.
It's going to be exciting either way, but yeah, we're sitting here and putting the world to rights. This is the 4th of July. It's a day of enormous auspicious power for the American people, and we only hope that follows. I mean, we'll have to see what happens anyway, but cool. I'll certainly report on it if it happens. I'm very glad I brought this camera, I really am. I am stunned by the colourful nature of what Miles has on.
I'm supporting courage. Support your courage, your cheerfulness, your resolution will bring us victory.
I quite agree, yes. And you certainly look the part, I'll tell you, on this.
This is a present from a Bates fan.
Oh. Yeah, this is, we showed this yesterday. He made a special.
This is a present from, the mugs were Bates fan.
He sent you a little card, he sent you a rainbow card, and it was really nice of him, yeah.
And the important thing is that whilst you were lying, talking high politics.
Yeah, well that's where we were sitting, yeah.
Breaking the bungees. I sneaked out and got some marshmallows.
Oh, nice one, yeah. We're about to go out to get some more supplies in terms of alcohol and snacks and all the essentials.
No.
We're not? We are.
You're simply going out to check for wildlife and the fact today is the first day in 4 months that pubs are open. And I expect resolution, courage, cheerfulness and resolution that you will not visit those pubs and you will not do what the Prime Minister says, is not enjoy yourself. Be as miserable as fuck and make sure you are utterly miserable under the Prime Minister's guidance.
I wouldn't dream of it, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm curious to see the pubs, but I'll tell you what, if I have to queue up and sign a form to go in, I can bloody bugger off.
Send an app in, order your pint by app, and have it will be brought to you. And you will not enjoy the pint, and you will be as miserable as fuck, and make sure you are suicidal in all your thoughts. Because God forbid you enjoy yourself in this fucking country.
What would they do if we weren't demoralised? Yeah, you know, it's like it's worse than a smoking ban. Worse than a smoking ban, Miles.
This is World War II, and these are a group of mugs which were sent to me. You've seen this thing is keep the red one is keep calm and carry on.
I had my own coffee out of that. I thought it was one.
And this is a blue one, and the green one is the other one has got another slogan on it, I think for the Navy or something.
I've seen the original Keep Calm, Carry On poster. It's actually preserved in a case at the Barter Bookshop in Alnwick in Northumberland.
Is that the one that was preserved so you can buy a copy of it?
It's the original.
A genuine original copy for the original price it cost to make, which would be about £500.
Something like that, yeah. But it's like it's quite amazing. It's Barter Books, which was
well, Ben, I did
place.
order 2 extra seats, but due to the COVID-19 emergency, they have not arrived.
As you can see, they're broke here. I didn't do that. Well, yours is broke, but that was Colin who did that, didn't he?
You did that one.
Was it?
Well, since Colin isn't here, he did it.
Yeah. See, it's not just me.
So I've double bungee jumped to repair it. You see.
Oh, very nice.
Double bungee, and in preparation of that breaking, I put 2 on as well.
Prophylactic repairs here, yes.
Yeah.
Well, Miles,
you know all these medical terms, they just go over my head.
Well, it just means like you're just in case kind of thing.
I have to go and get my own shoes.
Yes, you do. Right, yeah. You can't walk in town like that. But then we're going to head.
Well,
I've got
I
these
can't
on.
walk into town like this either.
I need some new shoes. These ones are buggered. All right, Miles. Let us head.
Excuse me.
Disgusting.
Was that in stereo? Would you get that on widescreen stereo?
We will, mate. Don't worry. Colin and I are heading with Miles to the shops. We decided we're going to go out and have a look around this nice little neighbourhood and head on this very, very picturesque location. It's a lovely town, like I said, and we're going to go to the shops. And Miles has been talking to his neighbours, and some of them still do talk to him, believe it or not, as we walk up the road here in Devizes to the city, to the town centre.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've seen that before.
This, believe it or not, we're at a crossroads now here in Devizes. Apparently this depression used to be a pond where they used to dunk the witches, because they used to do witch trials and ordeals, and then they would hang them over there. And it's at a crossroads where these things often did happen. Miles has just been telling us about this rather macabre part of Devizes history. You can see here where the old railway used to run. There's the tunnel. It used to come along here. You can see there's a cutting here. And this here is the old railway bridge, quite clearly. And you can just see the straight line through the cuttings where the railway track used to be. We've just found out from talking to a local lady that the railway actually, it was quite recently this railway was shut, 1965. So it's not been like this for long in terms of the history of this very old town. So we've just Sexton's seen Cottage.
No laughing in the cheap seats.
Okay. Former Alma House, 1615. All right.
As you well know, which means you haven't a bloody clue, this is the set for Far From the Madding Crowd, the original one, with Julie Christie, and this is where they actually filmed part of it.
Oh, right. It's a good film, that.
Yeah. And the thing about Devizes is it's got two churches. Two big churches. And the whole point about the film was that this girl was running to her wedding and went to the wrong church.
Yes, it's good.
And her husband-to-be was standing here, and of course they missed each other, and of course that was part of the tragedy of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a rather grim. It's a rather grim story, actually, but it's classic novel, lovingly reproduced onto film with Julie Christie, famous British actress, and this was where it was filmed.
Yeah, I'm going to take you where they actually stood doing the shot.
Right. Oh, this would be interesting. Carry on.
This is where they actually. Right here.
This is Devizes Church, was used in the film. I think it was around 1973 or something, wasn't it?
60s, I think.
Oh, 60s, older than that, yeah.
So anyway, the camera was about here, and the officer and the actors stood here
Oh, right.
with the church in the background.
You know what I'm going to have to do when we get home? Find that scene on YouTube.
Yeah, and this is where they actually did it, and then of course the whole town, this end of the town was actually used with hay and a few other things as the scene. Actually shot the actual movie.
Amazing. Got to watch that again now.
So these buildings are sort of obviously any TV aerials and things were not.
Oh, right, yeah, they've had to change it a little bit, I imagine, but it's still quite an authentic old. I mean, it hasn't changed much over the years.
Really
Look,
changed.
yeah, look at these old buildings, things, original windows and stuff. It's all the same. So it's quite a well-preserved old town, actually. This.
Town hall.
It's a well-preserved old town.
If you come over here, Colin, if you come over here.
We've got another blue plaque. There's lots of blue
Well,
plaques.
the point
around.
is, this is probably something that you're very familiar with, Colin and Ben, because you've probably been thrown in the nick here.
Oh yes.
This is the old town lockup, which of course you're very familiar with because you've probably spent many nights locked up in here.
Oh yeah. Well, only one, but yeah.
Yeah, well.
But not in there. If it was a place in London.
No, I think you were. I think this was the one.
Oh, was it? Oh my God! Wouldn't want to be stuck in here. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
Ben,
cool.
obviously you have a Swiss bank account.
Yes.
And obviously you keep all your gold in the vaults in Switzerland.
Absolutely.
However, we have another kind of gold here. It's called golden ales.
Ah.
And this is the vaults.
I'll have some.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, honestly, Miles, I wouldn't swap my gold for
If
that.
you're going to
but
get
still
married
nice.
next week, you go to the hen shop and buy yourself a wedding dress.
Oh right, I'm not planning on getting married anytime in the near future. Probably not in the next century. Not in this lifetime.
And Colin, I know you've probably heard of Morning Glory, but here we have the original Glory.
Oh right, yes. Morning Glory is something that I'm familiar with, yeah. But
What's the story?
Original Glory too.
This ancient Chinese restaurant was established in the era of the lockdown during the old calendar of 2020.
Oh right.
So this is only just opened, but consequently, because we're now in year 0.
Mayflower, right you are. Oh, it's just. Didn't we go in here?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I think we went in here. We went in here with a conference. Which
No,
conference?
you didn't.
Oh right, okay.
It's only just been built.
Oh right, okay.
So they've been sitting there for 4 months trying to open.
Oh dear. A brand new restaurant has yet to open because of the lockdown. Oh, well, I hope they open soon. Good luck to them.
Yeah, they
So if
are
you're in
doing-
Devizes, go to the Mayflower in Devizes. Staff wanted. I'm not Chinese, they probably wouldn't employ me. But yeah, good luck to them. Here, the Devizes Pyramid. This was presented to the town by Patrick John Nolan Norton in 2008. And it's actually a tetrahedron, not a pyramid. But there's the castle there. And this side is the... I don't know what that is. What's that? That's like a big house. And on this side there is a sheep and a castle and lots of other little sheep. So it's not exactly a pyramid, but it's still very, very interesting. And we have the village pond here. I'm here with Colin and with Miles. And we have the village pond. It's looking very nice. So the ducks are enjoying the rain, of course. It's actually started raining now, but hopefully we're hoping to take a little trip later, aren't we, Colin? And
Hope so, maybe.
see how it goes. Either way, we'll have a nice drive. Right here, all this along here is the Devizes and District Conservative Club, which is where we had the basis conference last year. If you remember that, I'll put a link to in the description box to that. Well, Colin and I have come once more to this wonderful range of hills. We're going to do a bit more exploring this evening and doing a bit more hill climbing. So it's not quite as nice as last night. It's raining slightly, but only very slightly. So
It's not too far.
So we're looking forward to that. To the top of this hill, and it's very, very nice up here. Great view. I don't know how much you can hear me, but there's a crashed UFO here. Actually, I think it's an animal manger. I'm just going to walk on now, see where we get to. I don't think anyone can hear you because there's too much wind on the mic, but there's a magnificent view here. We should have a little fluffy microphone on there, but it's not there at the moment. Sorry. Yeah, the microphone's in a really bad way, so look at that. What a view, ladies and gents. That's quite a view, isn't it? Yay.
That's Milk Hill, which is the highest spot between London and
20 centimetres taller, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it 27? If you measure 26 centimetres. Oh my god, that's being very. Yeah, isn't that lovely? To surveying, you know, different surveys will get different measurements. Hope you enjoy that, Heartland TV viewers. Hope you like this little view here. Miles led the way. So I can say, come on to the top of the hill, just to say we have actually reached the summit.
It's the summit of this smaller hill because these other hills are
That's all right. We can come back. But there's a conspiracy theory I want to talk to you about. Right, it's probably my favourite one, and I hope it's true.
Because you get a lot of water on the lens.
Yeah.
Either that way.
Well, how do you avoid
if you
that?
did it the other way around.
Well, I can't get. You know, the thing about it is like it's to do with Mount Everest, right? Do you know who climbed Mount Everest first? Who was that?
Colin.
Colin did. Colin, did you climb Mount Everest first? No, he didn't. It was actually a guy called two people, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton.
Sorry,
Hillary Clinton climbed Mount Everest first.
Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay of the Sherpa culture. Now the thing about this is very nice because this is really good because you know that the sponsors of the Everest expedition wanted Edmund Hillary to be the only first person. So but the two guys, they held hands and they stepped together onto the summit.
Right.
Yeah, so they were both the first people to plant their foot on the summit.
Very good, since the Sherpa had helped them get there in the first place.
They were very, very good friends. Now, when they got back to base camp, they were made to sign. Norgay was made to sign some forms, and they said it's just a little bit of business, you know, small print, red tape, that kind of thing. Tenzing couldn't read English. He could speak it, but he couldn't read it. Now,
He signed his life away.
well, what this form said was that I, Tenzing Norgay, saw Sir Edmund Hillary step onto the summit of Mount Everest ahead of me. Now, so they basically screwed it, but they needed Hillary's cooperation.
Yes.
They needed Hillary to say the same thing, to sign a form saying, yes, I went ahead of Tenzing. Guess what Hillary did? He refused. He refused to betray his friend, and he maintained that the two men stuck together. So there's a real heartwarming story there.
I hope we got some gentlemen in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got gentlemen in the world.
There are a few decent people left in the world, so Edmund Hillary is one of them. But anyway, Miles did step onto the summit of this ahead of me, and I'm not going to try and take that honour and glory away from him.
I can't read English. I can't read English either.
Right, yeah, you were.
Sign anything.
That's right, he's an Ulsterman, no Ulsterman can read English. Okay guys, I will see you later. I'm on my way down now. We've reached the summit. See you later. Oh, right.
Maybe platinum silver.
Is that what the sun's could be? It's sort of like it's nice anyway. Good morning everyone, it's Sunday morning. I'm here with Colin.
Morning.
And it's the 5th of July. I hope you had a nice US American Independence Day for my American listeners, and even if you didn't, I know that some British people celebrate it. I went to a party once on the 4th of July here in Oxford, well, when I was in Oxford, where people dressed as cowboys and Indians and sheriffs and things. It was quite good. And we're just getting ready now because Miles is setting up the studio. We're going to sing for our supper basically, aren't we, Cole? You know, with some. We're going to do something for the Basis
Project.
project.
As cowboys and Indians now, that would be politically incorrect, of course.
Of course, yes, you'd be cancelled at a moment's notice, yes, and be deplatformed and banned from social media. But we are going to dress in our normal clothes. Well, I've got my very UFO-themed T-shirt and hat here. A plug for the magazine, Gary. You're welcome. And we're going to do a little bases project fast blast or slow blast. Probably a slow blast, or medium-paced blast.
Yeah.
But we don't want to disturb the maestro at his task. Miles is setting his studio up, and you'd be surprised actually. Like even the sort of very informal live streams he does. A lot of work goes into it actually, getting the camera and the lighting and everything ready. The Basis HQ is kind of like, it's not really a home. It is like a studio with chairs and tables and kitchen appliances shoved in between. You know, anything that's not got wires coming out of it or tape reels and things like that looks completely out of place. It's nice. The sun has come out. It's the first time it's actually been sunny since we left Oxford. So. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we had a bit of rain at Town Hill last night. We filmed up there. Did you film up there?
Yes, we went to. It's Clifford Hill.
We didn't get as far as Town Hill, so.
But it was nice, wasn't it?
It was very nice. We got a nice little bit of a shower on the way.
It was. It didn't rain hard, but it did rain. It was.
Good view up there either way.
Well, it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. It was invigorating, and as you could tell, I was a bit high on a high when I was up there, and it's been a lovely. This was a lovely thing to do. You can't come to this area and not explore the natural wonders of Wiltshire. It's really nice. But we're going to just get this sorted and then get on. I think we'll have to when Miles is ready. We will obviously by the time you've watched this. It'll be over. Well, you can. I'm sure we'll think of something. I mean,
well, of course, there's a lot to be said. You know, there actually is quite a lot going on. Isn't there?
Well, if you think about it, I mean, we talked. I mean, you guys will have seen the beginning of this particular video. We talked for probably close to an hour.
Yeah.
Completely impromptu, unscripted, improvised, and I think we chewed over a number of really interesting points. I thought. And we could probably do the same again, and we can cover that ground again and maybe add some more
bonus content.
If we run out of topics, we can talk about the alien autopsy. Colin can go on that like that for ages. He can go on about like that for ages. So yeah, Miles has been very good to us. He's helped us out. He's invited us to come here and spend time with him at his Basis HQ, and he's given, we've had meals and things and cups of tea, but we're going to have to sing for our supper, and that is what shortly we will be doing. I just found out that this is the best news, I think, Colin. Is cinemas are going to be reopening pretty soon.
Some of them already opened maybe yesterday. I think my one was I'm a member of the Odeon Unlimited or whatever they call it, so that's going to open I think a week from now or so.
Oh, good. When are they showing the Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously there's a lot of films were due to come out. Well, a few films, obviously, but I think there's a bit of an issue, obviously, with certain films not being released till later in the year, like the James Bond film. But yeah, they basically putting. I'm not sure whether it was just because they're putting on some classic films just to shore up the screenings with other classic films, but. It's actually the 40th anniversary of the Empire Strikes Back, which is most people's favourite Star Wars film. So I'll be watching the Empire Strikes Back. I think they're showing it 3 times a day in my local one. So I'm going to make the effort, and actually it'll be interesting to see how they're doing their social distancing in the cinema and how they're assigned seats and stuff. But yeah, it'd be good to see Empire on the big screen again. Yeah,
it is the best Star Wars film, I think, and with the really. The generation of the franchise in the last decade or so, it's been really good actually to see to go back to the old ones, go back to the old original greats. But it'll probably be some kind of rule, like they'll be having half the seats will be like covered with red tape or something. You can't sit in them or something like that. But I was really worried about cinemas because people were saying, probably they were saying this is going to have a permanent effect. Probably most cinemas will never reopen again. And people that's sad.
I mean, the theatre they've pretty much said that because apparently they're not opening theatres, and they are. You can go into the theatre, but only to see a pre-recorded show or something, which seems to be totally crazy. Because
what's the point of that? You might as well just go. If you're going to see a pre-recorded show, you might as well just go to the cinema.
Exactly. I don't understand how that's. And obviously you've got issues with things like orchestras. I know that they're in hardship, and obviously a lot of music events, bands playing. You know, so yeah, it's worrying. But we can go to the cinema.
Okay,
Sorry, Ben. I don't.
Oh my God!
I don't want to make any noise.
Like Hacksaw Harry. Oh my God! Oh God! You know, people have been predicting the. It's sad. I mean, the cinema is like special. I mean, there was this documentary called "The Guide to the British Cinema," which I thought was really good. And the guy makes this point. He said, you know, you can't get the experience of being in the cinema into a small box in the corner of your room. It can't be done. I've been in this huge room with all the event and sharing that experience with other people, all those other people in the room. There's something special about it.
Yeah.
I mean, people have been predicting the death of cinema since the invention of the television.
It's a real escapism from reality, and to sit there. I mean, a lot of people now smuggle their own food and drinking because the prices are so extortionate in cinemas, movie places. But yeah, it's like escapism, and so I've got my pass. I get to see as many films as I want. You know, pay like I think whatever it is a year, and yeah, I think it's good. And one thing I was hoping to see was more of a switch towards these sort of paranormal sort of documentary things, maybe UFO movies on the big screen. Because I think James Fox, I'm not sure if he was having a limited release for his documentary Phenomena, was it called? But to see things, I'd like to see big, you know, amazing footage on a cinema screen or crop circles and things like that. I think that would be good. So if someone could actually get around to doing that, I think that would be an interesting thing to see.
It would indeed. I mean, James Fox is interesting. I interviewed him for Panmo Radio once when he did his previous documentary, and the idea of having specialised big screen presentations for the kind of things we like is good. I mean, the thing about I remember because we went to the Wiltshire Museum. I don't know if you were there. I went with Miles and I think who else was? I can't remember. Well, we went to the Wiltshire Museum, which is just down the road from where we are now, and they were having like a exhibition of. They had a crop circle movie on a continuous loop in this like theatre-like area.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And it was really.
But what they could do is literally put on, you know, like this drone footage now, which is, you know, so amazing, like stuff like Matthew does, and I think, you know, was it Stonehenge Dronescapes? That's another one. But I mean, you could literally put up, you know, the last 30 years of crop circles to sort of ambient music or whatever music, and then I think I'd gladly pay to sit for like 90 minutes of aerial views of crop circles. And,
would it?
And then some ambient music, and you know, smuggle a couple of beers in. I'd be in my element.
If you're familiar with Matthew Williams' work, I mean, his crop circle footage is cinematic quality. He did the opening titles for Sandra de Roy's Awakening of 12 Strands. He did a lot. He does his own channel where he does crop circle drone footage, which is really excellent. The few crop circles that have come out, he's droned them. Yeah, honestly, man, it's really that was a good idea, Carl. I'd be willing to go to that. I really would.
Or maybe Capel Green even now.
Well, Capel Green is on its way. I know people think it's not, but it is. It's still in post-production. There are plans for a premiere, big screen premiere, and it will be available on the small screen too. So those people who say, oh, it's never coming, it's a big hoax and there was never going to be a film, you're wrong. It's out there. Honestly, it's going to be great. It's going to be really great.
Yeah. Some of these independent cinemas, like the Curzon, they seem to show some of these sort of other sort of arty type films and things like that. Like, I think the Curzons are the main ones in London, but so I don't know if it's...
We've got a Curzon in Oxford now, and
okay.
I went and saw Red Joan there. It was quite a good film. The Curzon, yeah.
There's quite a lot of documentaries and, you know, quite obscure stuff. You have to sort of traipse out to these obscure places just to go see them. But I usually find they're usually only on for a couple of days or whatever. But I always find it quite worth the while. I'm quite like watching documentaries on a cinema screen. I know it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but you know, depending on the subject matter. But
there are a couple of independent cinemas in in Oxford which show art house flicks and things like that. And of course, regular viewers would know the Ultimate Picture Palace is one I've attended several times and done roving reviews. So that's one of these places. I think it's quite. I do think that's. Hopefully that will continue. Hopefully, these doom and gloom predictions about the end of cinema and the end of so much else will not come to pass. And certainly, I think if Colin and I have anything to do with it, they won't. So. Yeah. Hello everyone, we're back in the garden of the Basis HQ with my co-host Colin, and We have just done a live stream, a 2-hour live stream on the Basis project, which you've probably seen. I'll put a link in the description box to it, just in case you haven't. And how did it go, Colin, do you reckon?
Very good, actually. Yeah, it's been very interesting. You know, it's always good to sort of not stick to one subject. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, and this year specifically. So, yeah, I think we covered most things that we wanted to. We could rattle on for more, but
I mean, we're having a much-deserved.
Yeah, we got
cans,
you know, no expense spared. You know,
yeah, a couple of cans here. I think we've earned it, haven't we?
Yeah, not too strong either. So yeah, we're just sitting in the garden, getting some sunshine. Well, it's actually forecast to be very windy today. I think not been too bad. There was no sun yesterday. We had a bit of rain even, but very grey yesterday. But actually, seen some sunshine. So it's supposed to be quite nice next week. But
It's nice, isn't it? It's like really, it's lovely, warm. Yeah. But no rush. I mean, we've got I don't have to be work till Tuesday morning, so we can take it easy tomorrow. You know, we don't have to rush off straight away. We might. I think I'd be interested to see what it's like, and I think you, a Panwo TV viewers, would be interested to see that as well. So we'll see what we can do. Okay, I'm just relaxing now, following the live stream I just did with Colin and Miles. And I've been listening to a radio show. It's an episode of the X Zone Radio, and you get it on Spreaker. It's a Canadian guy who broadcasts his show. He's been doing it a long time. There's a lot of podcasts on his Spreaker page, and he had Carol Noonan on, and you'll know Carol Noonan because I don't think she's appeared in my videos yet, but I've appeared into a lot of hers. And she's a channeler for the Pleiadians. Now, I listened to the radio show. It's an hour long. It was basically a standard skeptic interview. In other words, the interviewer, a guy called Rod, he just laid out all the standard skeptic talking points, and Carol did her best to answer them. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with skeptics who disagree and give you these talking points. I have friends who do that kind of thing. It's not a problem. What I have a problem with is that at the end, when Carol had gone and he was all on his own, had the airwaves to himself, you know, like the coward he is, and he didn't have anyone to answer to, he didn't have her to, she didn't have the right reply, he said, she's just out to make a buck. It's this bullshit, this alien abduction, bullshit channeling, and they're out to make a buck, and it's just making money. And well, I left a comment on the video saying how awful that was, how unprofessional, how shameful it was for this person to say that. I know Carol personally, and I can assure you she is not motivated by that. She's not grifting. This comes up again and again in sort of in the comments reply section, that basically it's very convenient for skeptics to dismiss the people who disagree with them as grifters. We're making this up to make money. Okay, if you want to make money in this life, there's plenty of easy ways to do it. If you want to make money by honest means, there's ways to do it. I try to do that myself. If you want to make money by dishonest means, you probably make more money, but there's easier ways to do it. Much easier ways. You can sell dodgy double glazing. You can sell second-hand used cars and do them up to make them look better than they are. Pretending you're a channeler for some aliens is not a good way of making money. I know Carol. Carol earns a living from what she does, from her work. And why the hell shouldn't she? Did the Communist Party take power in the night? You may interest you know this X Zone Radio has ads on it. So Mr. Rod, whatever his name is, Rod, he makes money from what he does as well. Am I questioning him? Am I criticising him for that? No. Do I criticise the skeptics? Well, I've been to skeptic conferences and I bought books. I bought all kinds of skeptic books. I've read them. I've reviewed some of them on this channel, and I had to pay for them because they're books. You buy them. Was the author supposed to give them away for free? It was a disgraceful interview. And Rod should feel utterly ashamed of himself for that. It's not that he disagrees. It's not that I don't care if he's a skeptic. I don't care if he laid out all the skeptic talking points. How can you prove the Pleiadians exist, etc., etc.? I don't have a problem with that. Those are valid questions. Carol answered them as best as she could, and she has to, this is something she has to face, and she did. What I have a problem with is it ends with a smear against her character. It dismisses everything she does by pretending she's someone she's not, by pretending Rod pretended a woman he doesn't know, who lives thousands of miles away, is a criminal, essentially. Because it's easier simply than disagreeing with her. He doesn't want to disagree with her. It was an awful show. It ended with Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, as if he somehow disproved her by smearing her as a person, by slandering her. It was a disgusting interview, and I left a comment on there saying so. I'm afraid that's skeptics for you guys. I mean, if you want to know more, I'd say not all, hashtag not all skeptics. I mean, as I say, I have friends that are skeptics. I think there are honest skeptics. There are skeptics who disbelieve in all the things we say, and they say so in a professional. They conduct themselves in a professional manner. They just simply say, I think you're wrong and this is why, and they end it there, and I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I welcome people like that into my life. But if you're a skeptic and your response to meeting someone like me is to say, oh, you're just out to make money, you're faking all this to make a fortune, that is not only false in 99% of cases. How many people in this business make a fortune? I don't actually, 100% of cases, is wrong in 100% of cases. No one I know in this business makes a fortune. Some of us earn a living. None of us make a fortune. With the exception perhaps of Uri Geller. Well, you know, enough. He's literally the only one I can think of who's made a fortune. Just shut the fuck up with this stupid slander, alright? It's unprofessional, it's disparaging, it's dismissed, it's disgraceful, and it makes... In the end of the day, Rod is making himself look bad. He's insulting himself. He's making a fool of himself. And I mean, I've talked to Carol. I've talked to Carol an awful lot, and I know she's not like that. I've known many people like her, and they have these experiences, and they're real. So that's literally the only unpleasant thing that's happened to me so far this weekend. And I know Carol's all right. I mean, I haven't checked Facebook, but I bet she's pretty pissed off with it. And why shouldn't she be?
It's sort of like having beer and wine. Miles is trying to drill down to Agartha for some reason. I don't know. He's trying to... He's not reached the inner earth yet, but when he does, I hope it'll be all right.
It's a bit disappointing.
He's got a long way to go yet. Good morning, it's Monday morning now. We're both sort of getting ready to return to the real world, so-called. What a drag. But we've had a fantastic weekend. We're just sitting here now in the garden, as you see. It's another lovely day. Colin there is sunning himself like nobody's business. You know, so, exactly, make the most of it while it lasts. And I'm going to head back. I've got to be home by about 4 or 5 o'clock, so there's plenty, there's no rush. It's only about, what is it now, 11?
Half 11.
Half 11, no rush. Miles has gone off to, I don't know, he's gone off to have a date or something, a breakfast. So, don't know whether we're going to see him again. Anyway, take it easy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now off on another adventure somewhere. I will tell you in a minute, more in a minute. We're just following the Miles mobile to wherever we are going. Okay, Colin and I, along with Miles, are heading for the Barge Inn. Now this, of course, is a pub which you'll be very familiar with. It's Crop Circle Central, it's UFO Central. It's the gathering place for eccentrics and tinfoil hatters and esoterics and mystics from all over Wiltshire and beyond. Now, it's had a bit of a checkered history, though, over the last few years. As you'll know if you watch Matthew Williams' channel, it was taken over by some people who essentially wanted to turn into some kind of Italian restaurant, which is ridiculous. It was doomed to failure, and it's also a travesty against a major part of local culture. Now,
the good news is I think the penny has dropped, and it now has new owners, and they have turned it back into the original barge inn. And luckily a lot of the original decorations survive, including the classic crop circle mural in the pool room. Well, sometimes the pool room, sometimes they put some chairs and tables in there. So I'm curious to see it again, but of course, even though it's reopened, there's going to be a big kind of there's going to be some kind of what's the word, coronavirus restrictions. Now I've heard a few rumours about what that is like. Colin and I have been talking about it. I know from other pubs that it's so restrictive, it's essentially completely ruins the entire point of going to a pub. For example, you have to queue, and you have to sign a form or something, like a disclaimer. You have to sit at a table, you're not allowed to stand at the bar, things like that. And according to this place, the actual main interior of the pub is even shut, and they've actually set up a marquee outside. Now these are just rumours, we haven't had them confirmed, but we're going there now to confirm or deny them. So I do hope that it hasn't been ruined beyond recognition, because that would be a tragedy, I think, when you consider what an important place the barge was in the local community, in the local esoteric community. So fingers crossed, guys. Hey, this is the barge. We've just arrived, and you see this was not here when I was last here. This is an impression, like a model, a sculpture of the Mill Kill 2001 formation. Amazing crop circle there. So I'm going to head over here and see what happens. But that there is the new wing where we had the conference all those years ago. Regular Panmo TV viewers will know this site very well. It's the barge inn, and you can't get inside it. I don't think you can get indoors. And there, of course, is the canal. Right. And this bit hasn't changed. This is still the same. Well, I'm here with Colin here at the barge inn, and we have drinks. There's that's mine. That's Miles's. That's Colin. We've got what's it called?
I think it's Eiford.
Eiford cider.
Cider, 5%, not too strong. Got to drive back after this.
Yeah, that's a cider. That's a cider.
Road, as they say.
Yeah, that's just a West Country still room temperature cider. Miles has got Stoned, which is a kind of ale, and then Colin has the same as me. But we're sitting here at this bench here, and it's all canal behind us. It's a lovely spot, and I'm pleased to say that my worst fears have not been confirmed. There's a bar over there. I can show you where that bar. See that little enclosure over there? That's the actual bar. It's an outdoor bar, and it's got like barrels and things on the set up there. And you have these little plastic cups which they can't wash and use again.
So they charge you £1 first time, and then they'll bring it back to you. Well, you can bring it back obviously and use it again. So they do charge you £1 for the first time you use it. But no, that's all right. Yeah. But, and there's a food place with. Yeah,
we're going to get some. Miles is already helping himself, so we'll probably do that in a minute. But the thing about it is, we can keep them. I mean, once you buy them, you pay £1 for the glass or the plastic cup. It's a clear plastic beaker. But then it's yours. You actually have bought it. So if you want to come back, you can keep it as a souvenir. If you come back to the barge again before the lockdown's over, you can bring the cup back, and you don't have to pay for a new one. What you can't do is you can't just give it back to them and then they wash it and reuse it.
They missed a trick there. They should have had some crop circle or something on that plastic.
Yeah. Did you see the crop circle sculpture at the other side? Yeah. So now there was a form we had to fill in, but Colin said, only one of us had to fill it in, and Colin did it. Colin did the honours, but
I think number in the party 100. I think came from Mars or something. And,
yeah.
It's just bollocks really, but what can you do? You got to fight back against this draconian system, you know.
There's always various cacanis you can use to get around this.
I
think he's just talking to the but it's actually, there's not many people. It's a Monday lunchtime, there's not many people here, so early afternoon anyway, and so we just thought, I'm glad we came here. And this is the canal. Now the film I was talking about earlier, the video, it's actually called Night Watcher. It's not called A Walk in the Dark. I got that wrong. That's actually a very good short story by Arthur C. Clarke. It's called Night Watcher, and it's the one where I'm walking through the night to get to Pewsey to get a train home from the base of the barge conference, which on reflection is probably not a good idea, but well, all's well that ends well, and it ends up with a good video, so
we're going to sit here and enjoy these drinks. And if Miles doesn't turn up soon, I'm going to drink his for him. So there you have it. We've just ordered food. We're getting like a burger and chips. And Miles,
Ben's having these. This is Ben's drink. He's going to drink these in they're called Stone.
I get him down in one. Yeah, Stone is the thing, and Miles has got that. But there's their burger place over there. It's actually a proper kitchen. Has all kinds of things. Yeah. And it's almost £8, but I thought that's a lot for a burger. But no, it's chips and it's a full meal on a plate, chips and salad as well. So Colin and I are having something to eat. I don't know if you want. I didn't order any. You, Miles? I don't know.
I've ordered my chili.
Right, you are. So so far so good. Like I said, it's not as bad as I feared it would be. It's not, it's not.
Well, it's not bloody raining. But they're not going to open inside. It's not economic.
Well, they missed a trick. They should have like a crop circle or something on the plastic cup, because that would be,
Well, that would be nice, because like the crop circles, the thing they've got down
tourists
the
love that shit. I mean,
yeah.
I think you'll probably find
have a
it's
ticket
bloody
here.
crop circle.
We actually have a ticket. It might be.
You didn't give me a
established
ticket.
1810 Honey Street, live music place. This is our ticket. It's like the delicatessen. What they're going to do is they're going to call us there when it's ready, and we'll go over and collect our food. So that's how it's.
Not waiter service.
That's how
I've
it's
never
working.
known that
Yeah.
kind of a thing to happen.
Well,
Never.
very rare.
Never.
Not at a pub, eh, Miles?
No. It hasn't happened before.
But I mean,
At least you don't need a bloody app to get a pint.
Yeah.
I know. I mean,
I wrote down.
what did you write?
What number's that?
What number? Oh, it's Miles.
The
Miles
would have
first,
been-
yeah. Then Miles has already ordered his, but he'll just go up and get it now, and then. But Colin, what it is like? It's not as bad as I feared it would be. The guy at the pub, the guy at the bar over there is very, very sympathetic to the position we're in and the position pubs are in. We were talking to him about. I said I've not been down to a pub lately, because of the various restrictions. It just spoils it. So and we have a little ladybird there. That's good. That's good.
Good
luck.
sign, that is.
And the sun has come out. So things are looking up, guys. Some
Sorry,
restaurants.
could you stop filming here?
All right. That's Miles' chili. Looks very nice indeed. So yes, I know some restaurants don't like you doing that.
Yeah, well, exactly. So please, could you put that away?
Oh, story with getting these, because you had some of these at your place.
Stone once, but you
No,
get stoned twice.
this is 4 pints. You can buy 4 pints of whatever,
Yeah.
and the other smallest quantity is a litre in a glass bottle.
Okay. And you just bring that back and you can refill it.
And you buy that as a souvenir. And these are bought souvenirs.
That's right. Yeah, you can keep them, and then I'm going to keep mine as a souvenir. But hopefully by the time I come back here, there won't be a lockdown. But just in case.
Run out of petrol, you might be able to put.
Well, I now have my food. This looks very nice. It's burger, salad and chips. And all disposable wood cutlery. So I'm going to tuck in now. And this is the back of the barge here. And there's a children's play area. And there is another beer garden here. And there's this other strange sort of like place, a marquee, where you sit on bales of hay.
Well, that's what you do in countries like Loire.
Exactly. It's very romantic. I think, well, they do other things on bales of hay in the country. It's very romantic as well. But it's not bad. It's quite not very atmospheric. And the old toilet block is still there from when I was here before. And this is the campsite once again, return to its former status as a campsite. Inside that storage container there's actually it used to be a library. I don't know, what's in that storage container now, Miles? It used to be a library, what is it now?
That storage container is a storage container.
Yeah, it used to have...
It doesn't have anything in it. It's for storage during building. There's never anything else.
There used to be something there which was like a library, you could put a bookshop, and there was a cafe as well.
No.
No?
No. Wrong place. Different time.
Oh, sure, okay. All right, so this is the barge. Oh, we're on the A34. We're heading home. It's been a long weekend. It's been a good weekend, and it's been enormous fun. Colin, what do you?
Yeah, had a great time. It's always sad to go, but nothing lasts forever, as they say.
We've learned a lot, we've done a lot, I think we've taught a lot, and it's been great to see Miles again, and oh man, it'd be nice to see people again, the family and everything. It's of course, my social life is restricted enormously because of what's going on at the moment, no conferences and things, so it's quite intense when you go off and see people like Miles and Colin and everyone else, and it's always sad when it's when it's over with. But I think I've learned a lot, Colin. You know, I think I've studied a lot of things this weekend. We talked about a lot of things. We're going to get home and find out how much of those things apply. I mean, I don't know if you... will King John have taken the throne? Do you think? King John III?
Not my subject of interest. Like I say, no time for kings or queens. I think that belongs in the past for me personally. Got to move away from the hierarchy of, you know.
It's important. That's an interesting thing. That's something I've been thinking about. I mean, maybe we do need some kind of change which involves a complete break from what we've had up to now. Obviously, you know, I'm a critic of democracy. You know, democracy is not an ideal form of government. It's not functional. But at the same time, you know, I'm not a dictator either. I don't like dictatorship. So, in a sense, we're given a choice between those things in our world. But maybe there's another option which we haven't thought of yet. Maybe we can't think of it yet. Maybe it's something that will come up. It'll occur to us once we're already in the post-Illuminati world. I know that's not very satisfying, but you know, I'm not bothered by the fact that we don't have some kind of provisional post-Illuminati government yet.
And the same goes for the fact that we don't have a model for a post-Illuminati state or non-state structure, or, for example, a draft constitution. It doesn't matter.
I think that maybe it's like Howard Beale in Network. He says, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I don't know what to do about the inflations and the Russians and the punks running on the street. I'm not going to tell you to write to your congressman. I wouldn't know what to say. So he's got no practical idea about how to improve the terrible state the world is in. But then he says, all I know is that first you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being, goddammit. My life has value. And I think the point of that is, Colin, I don't know if you agree, is that once you do that, once you start thinking in that dissentient, dignified way, the practical stuff will take care of itself. I mean, that's what I hope. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope so. That's some sort of better, you know, even if it causes chaos. I mean, they always say order comes out of chaos. So, I mean, well, you have to be careful because sometimes when you're dissolving something, then something just as evil can replace it, you know, and that's that's long been rumoured what the New World Order was, I suppose, whether, you know, something happens and it falls apart, and then they start creating a, you know, even worse state, totalitarian state. So you got to have your wits about you and sort of question everything. But yeah, as long as everyone's sort of getting angry and singing from the same hymn sheet, then I think we can change the world, you know.
And the idea of somebody replacing something awful with something else, and it turns out to be just as bad. Well, that's happened many times in history, hasn't it? And it's a mistake we have to try to avoid. But I think that the disclosure issue will help. I mean, all these things are connected. I mean, once you get one big secret goes down, the others will follow, and it's going to be hard. I said before, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough process to go through, especially when it comes to the children and things like that. But once we're in that sort of state where the veils of secrecy are falling, the true apocalypse, the unveiling, the revelation, the exposure, then I think we'll be in more of a state where we can actually create something worthwhile. And that's for the disclosure issue, Colin. What's the chances of it happening this evening? What do you reckon?
Being Monday, you mean?
Yeah.
Probably unlikely, I have to say. I mean, being honest, but stranger things have happened. But short of a spaceship landing, I don't know, in Oxford or something, then...
I hope it is Oxford. That'd be
Well, expect to see. I hope you have exclusive video footage of that.
I will, definitely. You know, it is unlikely to be disclosed this evening because it is a Monday. Disclosure would happen in the evening Eastern Standard Time, because it's the assumption, probably a correct one, is it would start in the United States of America with Trump in the White House. I think that's very likely. Now, it'll be sort of like around about tea time, which means it will be a roughly 9 or 10 p.m. British time, depending on the time of year. It'll be roughly 9 or 10 p.m. and it'll be a Friday, so that's when it will happen. And of course that's not for a few days yet, so we've got a few more days of the pre-disclosure world to come at least, and then maybe then you never know. But yeah, well, once that's done, we know the New World Order is not going to happen. It cannot happen. These things are mutually exclusive. New World Order and disclosure. The disclosure is antithetical to the New World Order. Absolutely, definitely. So we'll see what happens. Well, you know, obviously I'll be covering this. Oh, and of course Wednesday the 8th of July is World Disclosure Day. Now, that will remain World Disclosure Day until disclosure happens, when the day will automatically, of course, shift to that particular day. But this Wednesday, by the time you've seen this, it'll already happen, because I won't be able to upload this until afterwards. But if you check the channel, there should be a live stream, at least one live stream, and there may be two on my BitChute channel, because I'm going to do one on Facebook as well, for World Disclosure Day. That's July the 8th. And this year I'm doing a special live stream on Heartland TV, so I hope you'll watch the recording of that if you haven't seen it live already. So that's what my hope is for. So anyway, it's been quite a weekend, hasn't it, Cole? It's been quite a weekend.
I'm sure there'll be something going on in the future, hopefully. Although everything's up in the air at the moment. So
what's next with Q and things like that?
Hopefully, I mean, obviously you've got. It's supposed to be quite a big month for the Q stuff. I mean, if you believe the guy who sort of decoded the Q clock, or it's maybe the next couple of weeks could be some big stuff going on. Probably, you know, in regard to Trump, but maybe some arrests. Who knows? Maybe naming of names or something. But we shall see. You know, I always get the updates.
So obviously, like we came into this with breaking news. By the time you watch this, it's possible there'll be updates. Ghislaine Maxwell, arch madam of Epstein's sex trafficking and blackmail extortion cult and extortion business, is in custody, and who knows what's going to happen to her if she survives. If she doesn't die of coronavirus, or that's probably what they'll do if they want to get rid of her. She's a domino near the front of the pack. I mean, dominoes at the end, people like Weinstein and Jimmy Savile, you know, they go down on their own and there's nothing connection. She's a domino at the front, and she goes down, lots of others have to follow. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that domino has fallen, others will follow. Once that happens, well, who knows? I mean, it could lead to so much more, and not just to do with suffering children, but other things as well, other things within the establishment. So I'll be following QAnon and as well, and so see where that goes. And obviously, I will keep you guys updated as soon as there is news. But in the meantime, I just want to say thanks very much to Colin Woolford.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Nice to have you as company on this trip to Devizes and back. And I look forward to seeing you again in the future, Ben, and everyone else watching at home. I hope you enjoyed it all.
Yeah, and then thanks to Colin. It's great to see Colin again. I haven't seen him for ages. And of course, thanks to Miles Johnston for basically putting up with us for a few days. Although I think we did a very good live stream for him, so I'm sure he appreciates us as well. And thank you to everyone who's watched, and to those who watched the live stream on the Basis Project. We did it. It was very good. It's on Miles' channel now. Do go and see it. There'll be a link in the description box where you can go and see that. And
also, just say July the 11th, there's a new series of Unacknowledged, which we saw the first of it. So I don't know what sort of channel that'll be on, or whether that's just in America or what. But I'm sure there's ways around of watching it. But you might want to check that out, because it's one of the more interesting documentaries. That's Luis Elizondo and all that lot. Regardless of what you think about it, it's actually very very interesting. We enjoyed the first series.
Yeah, we were watching the first series all weekend. Like I said, it's been like they put it there for us. They created our very own playlist. So thank you very much, Panmo TV viewers, for watching once again. This was a completely unplanned video. I literally just grabbed my camera as I was going out of the house. I was originally going to leave it behind. I just grabbed the camera and charger on impulse as I was leaving the house when Colin arrived to pick me up, and I'm very glad I did, because this video, I'm probably going to call it The Great Escape or Back to Freedom or something like that, and I think it's a good job I made it, I think. So thank you, all of you, for watching Panmo TV. There's more coming very soon. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.